A shower or two today and 19 with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
The last group of so-called ISIS brides and their children are expected back in Australia today. More from Federal Politics Editor Michael Packey.
At least 6 women and 14 children left their detention camp in northern Syria last week and travelled to Damascus, from where they booked flights to Australia. It's understood the group is now on its way home and likely to arrive this afternoon. 9 members are expected in Melbourne, the rest in Sydney. In a statement, the government maintains it's not helping the cohort and some could face arrest as soon as they land. The group is believed to be the last of the Australian citizens that had been at the camp. Earlier this month, 4 women and a number of children returned. 3 remain in custody. The other is being closely monitored.
The Prime Minister appears to be opening the door to potential capital gains tax exemptions for industries other than technology. Anthony Albanese understood to be consulting with small business and big industry on the changes. Legislation to be introduced on Thursday aimed at scrapping the 50% capital gains tax discount. Questions have been raised why a new dedicated room is being built inside Parliament House in Canberra for the state's new treaty body. The third floor of Parliament has been refurbished for a First People's Chamber. Recreational fishing bans have been imposed at the sites of 2 new artificial reefs recently established in SA. David Bruce has more.
No fishing will be allowed at the sites in Wirrana on the Fleurieu Peninsula and Nepean Bay on Kangaroo Island for an initial 12-month period. The Department of Primary Industries and Regions says after the initial 12-month period, which will continue until May the 25th, 2027, the sites will reopen for recreational fishing only. The new reefs made of concrete were installed this month as part of a $600,000 marine recovery project to help the long-term regeneration of species like snapper, kingfish, mulloway and squid, which were decimated by the harmful algal bloom.
The country's winter crops have taken a hit due to elevated diesel and fertiliser costs, as well as mixed weather conditions. A Rabobank forecast showing an 8% reduction in planting area compared with last year. The World Health Organization warns the current Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is outpacing health response efforts. The number of deaths from the epidemic now sits at 220, with more than 900 suspected cases. Epidemiologist Dr. Eric Ding telling the 9 program today the actual number of cases could be much higher.
Right now, there's even reports of them running out of diesel and gasoline to power the generators, to power the lab tests, the equipment.
2 men have been arrested in Vietnam over the assassination of an organised crime figure from Sydney. Lorenzo Lamalu was gunned down outside a restaurant in Ho Chi Minh City. The 24-year-old, a senior member of the so-called Coconut Cartel. Tributes continue for Neil Danaher, who's died at home in Melbourne, aged 65. The former Australian of the Year and AFL legend was diagnosed with motor neurone disease 13 years ago and helped raise $115 million for research. Matt Tilley from Fight MND says the MND community has been deeply affected by the news.
They take this news particularly hard. It's a really brutal and confronting reminder of what lies ahead for them. But every single person I spoke to said what Neil brought to us and what he brought to Australia and what he brought to this community was hope.
Turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol garage doors are proudly and brilliantly made right in South Australia. Gliderol.com.au.
Good morning, Jace Kemp.
And a good morning to you, Matty. Let's start with AFL, and the countdown is on until tonight's mid-season draft. Port Adelaide has 3 spots available as they look to bolster its list for the back half of the season. Assistant Luke Webster says they'll look to replace Ollie Lord and Ivan Soldo.
With the 2 guys that we've lost, the 2 talls, potentially looking at one of those guys that could potentially step in and help us right here, right now.
To tennis, and Thanasi Kokkinakis has fought back from the brink of defeat to win a first-round thriller at the French Open. Kokkinakis was 2-1 down before rallying to win after 4 hours. The South Aussie says it was one of the wins of his career.
At least 1 year before I'm done, I want to try and play a full schedule and see what happens if my body will allow me. But for me, it's the little wins and the small victories and stuff like today where that's the reason I kept trying to come back from these injuries, to have moments like that on court, because I know when I'm retired and nothing will really compare to that.
And final preparations are underway for the Men's State of Origin Series opener. Queensland is set to tackle New South Wales in Game 1 tomorrow night. And that's the 5AA Sports.
Thanks, Jace. Now, 5AA's forecast, a shower or two, 19 for today and tomorrow. Partly cloudy on Thursday, 18. Showers increasing Friday, 19. Currently 11, 5AA, always Adelaide.
Our first big deadline is Midnight Friday. Win $500,000. Get your Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery tickets now to automatically enter the early bird draw for $500,000. Homelottery.com.au. Plus, your tickets stay in for the West Beach Grand Prize, a single-level stunner right on the beach. Early bird deadline, Midnight Friday. Get your tickets at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14944.
Finding your next Volkswagen? That part's easy. And right now, you don't have to wait. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's end of financial year unlocked event is on right now. So you can jump in early and get first pick from a huge range of new and demo Volkswagens ready for delivery. Plenty of colours, plenty of options. On-site finance, next day servicing. No waiting, no missing out. End of financial year unlocked event ends June 30. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Home is where the heart is, and there's no place cosier than in your bed. But if you're experiencing restless nights and you're feeling sluggish during the day, the answer is a Complete Comfort bed. Complete Comfort has a range of independent living products, but just wait until you try their mattresses. They have adjustable zones, easy controls, and edge support technology. Begin every day with a smile thanks to a Complete Comfort bed. To arrange a free, no obligation, in-home visit, go to completecomfort.com.au.
Our first big deadline is Midnight Friday. Win $500,000. Get your Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery tickets now to automatically enter the early bird draw for $500,000. Homelottery.com.au. Plus, your tickets stay in for the West Beach Grand Prize, a single-level stunner right on the beach. Early bird deadline, Midnight Friday. Get your tickets at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14944.
The first few years of a child's development play a vital role in their future learning and life, and that's why the state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026.
The earlier children start learning, the sooner their developmental needs can be identified and supported. The teacher-led play-based program is designed to help every child build confidence, curiosity and the skills they need to thrive in learning and in life.
According to the state government, this initiative will lift the quality of early childhood education across the state through investment in higher qualified staff, professional development and extra support for family and children through a preschool boost program supporting stronger outcomes for children.
Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. That was a message from the Government of South Australia.
Listen.
On eBay, it's now free to sell, so you can keep more of what you earn.
Well, all right.
No transaction fees on your sales. Not available to pro sellers. See full terms on eBay.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8:06, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 26th of May. We're off to Vegas shortly. The Enhanced Games has begun in the last 24 hours, and I confess I'm fascinated in this. I'm fascinated in what appears to be the farce that beyond what people imagined it has become, and what it tells us about professional athletes, genetics, drug use. We're going to speak with Rob Scott in Las Vegas very shortly. Also coming up, how can you save on heating this winter? Choice household expert Chris Barnes has some tips for you after 6:30. So if you're looking to save some dollars, and who isn't, frankly, this winter, that is the segment for you. We have a Golden Sack Truck nomination. Deb is going to come on before 7 o'clock this morning. Sure. Deb has a story that needs to be teased out. We're going to give her the appropriate time to do that. After 7 o'clock today, Phil Curry, federal politics. What's happening with the federal government's budget? It feels like there is some change afoot. We'll find out all the latest from Phil. We got a jury trial, and then a little bit later we will spend a bit of time, David, reflecting on the remarkable life and legacy of Neil Danaher, who sadly passed away yesterday, aged just 65 years of age, yet a remarkable story of resilience, given the average time of survival from a diagnosis of MND is 27 months, and he made it to nearly 13 years. And how much good did he do in that time? How much better is that movement for his extended life in the context of that awful disease? And good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, it really is incredible, isn't it? And, you know, I actually think the two things you just talked about there to kick things off this morning will actually tie, because at one side you've got a bunch of athletes who are using drugs to alter their bodies, spending vast amounts of money on an industry that I think, frankly, should not exist. Like human growth hormone, powders you can take so you look like you're Captain Caveman. Why is a single cent of money being spent on that crap? It is a testament to vanity and it completely corrupts any idea of sport being some sort of level playing field. I mean, the fact that this has been turned into some sort of quasi-Olympic contest is an insult to the very concept of sport. Then the pure goodness of Danaher, someone who, as you said, facing this shocking diagnosis, and everyone knows how it ends, goes, what can I do? What can I do? And this is where, you know, so much of science comes down to money. And those beanies, like, you would have bought one. Yep. I've bought one. My kids have got there was a whole pile. Like everyone in Australia, I reckon's got one of these beanies.
What the best shot in the news last night we had at 7 was MCG Big Freeze Day, and there was this just wonderful angle that I've never seen of the crowd at the MCG, because it captured. It was one of those long focus sort of frames where you've never seen so many of just the punters of the MCG in one shot. And every single person's wearing a beanie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It looks like 100,000 people. It's probably 55, 60 from the side you're looking at the ground. But it is unbelievable. You can't find someone who's not wearing one.
Yeah.
It's a powerful image.
But what an evil bloody disease. And, you know, I'm sure people would know people, have family and friends who've gone through it, because it's actually reasonably common. Like, it's not like some, you know, one of those minuscule rare find foundation type things where you have one or two people a year getting it. Like, you know, one of my mum's friends had it, like, and went downhill in record time. And it's just terrible, because you know what's going on and you can't talk. You know, you still...
Yeah, your brain's still working.
Your brain, you can still understand things, but you can't talk, you can't respond. Amazing, that technology where you can use eye movements to actually generate speech.
Yeah, interact with a computer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was the thing that got Stephen Hawking.
And it's these kind of campaigns, obviously, goes without saying, that get money toward that kind of technology. So that's remarkable. Well, we'll talk more about Neil Danaher after 8:30 this morning. I wonder how many of our listeners have security cameras at home. How many have Ring cameras on your door or something similar that records during the day? CanStar have put out a survey, and the Ties have some details of it on page 8 this morning, about the kinds of things people see in their security cameras at home. 22% of people have caught pets behaving badly. 21% caught neighbours coming onto their property.
Neighbours?
Neighbours. 11% saw neighbours using their outdoor items without permission. 1 in 10 people surveyed that has a security camera at home.
What sort of things?
10% of respondents caught parcels being stolen from their home. What do they call that? Porch pirates.
Yeah.
Porch pirates. It's something that we unfortunately have become aware of in the last couple of years, where almost 1/5, that's 17%, saw parcels being damaged or mishandled during delivery. 10% saw someone attempt to break into their home. 6% witnessed a break-in. 7 saw attempted vehicle theft, and 5 saw their vehicle being stolen. I reckon a lot of people would have put them in reaction to violent incidents in their street or area, so they're probably overrepresented, because probably the reason you've got them is someone's tried to do something to your home or your neighbour. So that may be oversampling for that kind of behaviour. But it got me thinking, because the TV news industry doesn't exist at the moment without homes' security systems.
Yeah, you guys rely on it massively, don't you?
It's every time there was a car driving erratically down a street, every single time someone's approached a home in a threatening manner, if there was a violent incident towards a house, generally someone in the street will have a security camera these days. I wonder if any of our listeners do, have had them installed, or ones on the door are very common these days that you have out looking towards the street. I'd love to know why you got them. Have you ever spotted any weird behaviour on them? Give us a buzz, 8223 0000.
Wasn't a thing at all when I was a kid.
No, but the technology wouldn't have been small enough or cheap enough.
Like super rich people would have had some sort of security.
Yeah.
You know, with an intercom and stuff like that.
Affordable now, relatively speaking.
Well, that's it. It's just, I don't know. I sometimes think things like that can make you even more paranoid.
Absolutely.
Because you hear about so many people who get home invaded. They've got all the gear. And like, if someone wants to get in your house, they'll get into your house.
Well, yeah, that's right. It doesn't stop them in the moment.
No. And you know, you hear about a lot of those carjackings in like the really flash parts of town. Like those houses, you know, are places that do have security. People just jumping fences and getting in there and working out how to push the button from the inside to get out. Like, it doesn't actually really seem to make any difference.
Some of the best stories I've heard are the lowest stakes ones when it comes to security. People with 3 kids saying, so someone left the entirety of their lunchbox in the planter pot out the front of our house. Anyone want to own up to it? Oh, no. Okay, well, maybe we'll just go have a little squiz at the security video and find out. And it works incredibly well in that scenario.
Keep your kids under full surveillance 100% of the time to catch them out lying.
Exactly right. Kim and Kadina, have you got security cameras at your place?
Yeah, we certainly have, mate. Unfortunately, we have a rented house next door, and the last couple of tenants haven't been terribly good. Recently, we caught red-handed a neighbour doing drug deals.
Oh, really?
Seriously? Wow. So what you said you had to send your security stuff to the police?
Yes, we certainly did, and they looked at it and they were very surprised how good the footage was. But sadly, to this point, nothing has happened. They are also vape dealers next door to us. And, they say it's an ongoing investigation. So,
oh, wow,
it's been going on for nearly 2 years.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's awful that you had to get cameras because just going back to your house involved dealing with, you know.
And it's all a cost as well. Like, if you
totally
good enough to lease out a rental property long-term to somebody who needs somewhere to live, that's a good thing to do, putting housing stock into the market. And, next thing you know, you're paying extra for cameras to stop them dealing meth or whatever.
Sally and Hillcrest, you got cameras at your place?
We do. And I think ours is, it was a theft, but it was kind of funny at the same time. So the kids ordered Uber Eats, and when Uber delivers, they take a photo by your front door. The driver did that and then picked up the bag of food and walked back down the driveway.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
Came all the way to the front door, took his photo to prove he'd delivered it, and then took off. And we had to send the footage to Uber, and it took the kids 2 days of arguing with them to get their refund.
Wow. But you got the refund in the end?
They did in the end, yep. But all because it was caught on camera. Otherwise, Uber wouldn't have believed us because they had the photo proof that it was delivered.
Camera probably paid for itself at that moment, I guess.
Absolutely.
Good on you, Sally. What an extraordinary story. Thank you. Shane in Brooklyn Park, why have you got cameras at your place?
Okay, well, I was adamant I was never going to get cameras. And then one day it was around Christmas time, believe it or not, one of the girls across the road, she left her bag in the actual car. And that night when we had a party, Christmas party, someone smashed the window and broke in and stole her purse, obviously, because she shouldn't have left the purse there. And then the police came around the next day and they said, we can't believe it. In this whole street, there's not one camera. And that's what sparked me to think, well, maybe I should get a camera now because my kids are now starting to park their car at the street.
Yeah.
These are fascinating stories, yeah.
See how people would respond like that.
Keep your stories coming in, folks. You got a security guard. Why? Have you ever seen anything weird? Like the Uber Eats driver who just took a picture of the bag, picked it up and walked off. That's an amazing story. Or indeed, the reason you put them in the first place, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000.
I like those Google Earth stories. There was one where often Brazil really punches above its weight and the weird stuff caught on camera.
Yeah.
There's one of this, well, it's not actually funny at all. There was one of like an actual hold-up in progress, like on the outskirts of Rio, and the Google Maps truck went past.
No way.
There's someone actually put their hands against the wall with a machine gun being pointed at them.
Great tourism
Welcome
advertisement.
to Rio.
Let's head to Las Vegas. Rob Scott for 7 News is covering this bizarre spectacle going on there at the moment, the Enhanced Games, which, Rob, based on my cursory look at some of the results, this might be the best advertisement against buying steroids that we ever could possibly have had, because the records aren't exactly tumbling and the clean athletes seem to be winning.
Right, 12 events and 42 athletes competing. Of the 42, there was about 5 that were clean, and 3 of those 5 athletes actually won their events. Both the men's 100 and 200-metre sprints were won by clean athletes, and also the 50-metre backstroke won by a clean athlete up against juiced-up athletes. So, yes, not exactly what the organisers were hoping for, but we did see one world record beaten. That was the 50-metre freestyle, and that was right at the very end of the whole games, the last race of the night. So this has got...
Oh, Rob, I think we got a bad line there, but Rob sort of captured the silliness.
What's the philosophy behind it? Who decided it was a good idea to organise it?
Some private money backed it somewhere. Someone wanted to see.
Sort of Don King equivalent.
The idea was, could someone run the 100 in 8 seconds? Could someone jump 15 metres? Right? Like, well, how far can the human body go? Turns out, not much further than what it... Well, you know what's actually shown? Genetics plays a much bigger role than steroids. And people wondered, well, could steroids mean old athletes can compete? Turns out no.
Yeah.
James Magnussen came last in both of his races.
But what's he done to his body? Like, you look at that bloke, he just looks ridiculous. He's going to end up with his navel's going to be on his chin. He's had so much work done. He can't stop smiling. He can't blink. It's just terrible. Well, what are we doing to ourselves as a species?
Well, are we? We're the we. Let's be. Who's the we? It's a.
Oh, well, no, okay. I would actually controversially throw in even Ozempic. You know, like all these, suddenly everyone, losing weight. How?
Yeah, but I think that's different.
I actually think it's not something that's going to endure. It's like sort of crash diet type stuff. Like, it's a form of body manipulation without the effort required.
Yeah, but so is toothpaste to keep your teeth clean. Like, at some point, these are all chemical agents, sunscreen to keep, like, it's about where the line is. And I think a steroid compared to a GLP-1 blocker is like a totally different world of chemical intervention. Like, if we could, have you seen that for the first week we've reached peak obesity? It's dropped on the other side. Like that, it's just remarkable what's happening in the world at the moment.
Why is it going the other way?
Because of these medications.
Yeah.
It's not because anyone's eating any healthier.
Well, isn't that sort of the point, though? Like, isn't there a way to do it without doing...
Yeah, but yeah, and there's like, people shouldn't drink or smoke or it just, human nature isn't such that. Human nature doesn't really work like it should. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll talk sport on the other side of this.
A full bottle of LPG? That's useful. 3 bottles? Even more useful. Your first 3 bottles of LPG for $99 each with delivery from Origin? That's all kinds of useful. Sign up by 30 September, only in selected areas. Equipment fee and T's and C's apply.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Last month, we serviced around 11,000 vehicles. More than 1,500 Fords, 1,200 Holdens, 1,000 Subarus, 800 Isuzus, MGs, BMWs, Mercs, Audis. That's right, over 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters or book online. All centres offer repair now, pay later options. So switch and save with Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
They say one of life's biggest decisions is buying a home. But sometimes the hardest one is leaving it. At Anglicare SA, we're here to help you stay where you belong. We offer support for everyday things like cleaning, gardening, cooking, but are also experts in care management, allied health and clinical nursing. Because we believe there is no place like home. And with the right support, there is no reason to leave it. Find out more at Anglicare SA. You are at home.
Now, the first big deadline is midnight this Friday. Get your tickets for the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery now to automatically enter the early bird draw for $500,000 cash.
A whole lot of freedom from one little ticket. Someone will win big, so why not you?
That's right. Get your tickets now at homelottery.com.au and you'll stay in for all remaining draws, including the $4 million grand prize, single-level luxury living at West Beach.
Plus, it's a guaranteed win for your community, supporting life-changing healthcare right here for South Australians like you.
$500,000 is on the line. Early bird deadline midnight this Friday. Get your tickets now at homelottery.com.au.
At Kia, the Tasman Ute is ready to move with exceptional value across all 2025 models. Starting from $59,990 drive away for the Kia Tasman X-Line Dual Cab. Yes, now $59,990 drive away. All backed by Australia's first and still best 7-year warranty. Hurry, now's the time to make your move. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your local Kia dealership now. The Kia Tasman, ready to move.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Whether you're running a big project or juggling multiple sites, meetings and deadlines, that's a Kennard's Hire job. From roads, transport and renewables to schools and hospitals, if you're in charge of major infrastructure projects, Kennard's Hire has the capability, solutions and expertise to make the job easy. So when you need the right solution with 24/7 support, that's a Kennard's Hire job.
Hi, Kennard's Hire.
Talk to our experts today.
Kennard's make your job easy.
Here's the thing you'll love about a WEA course. It's not just learning, it's meeting. Meeting people with similar interests and learning together. It's great fun and it sure beats sitting in front of a screen. WEA has 22 language courses on offer and over 80 cooking and wine appreciation courses. How about learning property development, subdividing land, gardening, music or performing arts for hobbies? For face-to-face learning you'll love, visit wea-sa.com.au.
Last month, around 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
27 after 6, Tom Wren's disappearing voice ultimately got the better of him yesterday. So we're delighted to have on debut Jace Kemp from 10 News. Gliderol Garage Doors, proudly and brilliantly made in South Australia. Gliderol.com.au, my old colleague. Good to see you, Jace. Great to have you in the studio, mate.
Yeah, good to see you both too. Good morning to you both.
Sports-wise, what's happening in the world?
Yeah, the mid-season draft is tonight. All eyes are going to be on that. You know, Port Adelaide has 3 picks, 5, 14, 17, 3 spots available. So they'll probably go looking to replace their tools in Ivan Soldo and Ollie Lord. So probably it looks like North Adelaide ruckman Alex Van Wyck is their main target. He's been training at Port Adelaide for most of the year. He also plays obviously at North Adelaide. So they need a big tool down there, and they also need probably another midfielder. So Ollie Franco.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
It's Josh Franco's
Yeah,
son.
he's also his coach at North Adelaide. So
Yeah, right.
he could potentially get the call up as well, and they need a big body midfielder, Port Adelaide at the moment, someone who can get in and get their hands on it. So
just to clarify, Jay, so this is the draft where they can rape and pillage the SANFL.
Yeah, David hates the mid-season draft.
That's right, yeah.
And what are the SANFL clubs get in return? $10,000, isn't it?
Yeah, about 10,000 bucks, yeah.
They have an whole year wrecked, potentially. $10,000.
Mm-hmm. I can see both sides.
I mean, you could just recruit guys who don't want to play in the AFL and just be the third best competition in Australia.
Listen,
or fourth best.
The thing is, they don't even get treated with respect when they go over a lot of these guys, do they? Because they sort of end up in these holding patterns, not getting picked, then they come back again. There's not many great success stories of people transitioning over.
No, but I can see both sides of the ledger. On one hand, you've got a kid who wants to play AFL. It's his dream to do so. On the other hand, you've had these SANFL clubs that lose, potentially North Adelaide, about to lose a ruckman and their best midfielder.
Yeah.
Straight to
season's over.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
So it's pretty tough.
I reckon Marty Mattner was right the other day when he said they should get at least $50,000. Like, for the impact that it has and the disparity between the haves and the have-nots in footy.
Especially if it's a guy, if it's a guy that you've got overseas being delisted by St Kilda last year, and you know, well, he's coming to the SANFL to get back in the AFL, I've got less sympathy. When it's someone you've developed as a junior, and it's come through your system, and then they're taken off calendar, I've got a lot of sympathy for that kind of thing. Yeah, that's the Franco situation, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you're right. That maybe there should be a tiered financial compensation system where you get way more money if it's one of your own juniors.
We should just teach young footballers that their career has reached its absolute zenith playing in the SANFL. Seriously.
Just quickly, Tanasi Kokonakis.
Tanasi Kokonakis had a massive win at the French Open. He came back from 2 sets to 1 down. He rallied 4 hours. He played, and he came back from that awful pectoral situation where he's actually had his whole pectoral muscle detached, and he had to have surgery to fix it. Amazing victory. He said it's one of the best of his career. So he goes through to the second round. Also, Alex de Minaur straight through in straight sets as well. So
that's terrific news. Hasn't been happy on hunting ground for Australians over the years at the French Open. So that's good news. Good on you, Jace. Good to have you, mate. Thanks for stepping in.
Good to see you, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 19 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra offers Locomat and Armio robotic technology services at their Marion and Eastwood clinics. PhysioExtra.com.
Another group of ISIS-linked women and children are expected to touch down in Australia later today. At least 6 women and 14 children left a Syrian detention camp travelling to Damascus to book flights home. The government maintains it is not helping the cohort, warning they could face arrest as soon as they land. Shadow Home Affairs Minister John O'Duniam says they shouldn't be coming back at all.
I think that these people pose a risk. I don't know how the government can turn a blind eye to this. They haven't spoken to them since 2022, and they're going to be living in a neighbourhood near you.
Adelaide Lord Mayor Jane Lomax-Smith will seek re-election in council elections in November. In a statement today, the Lord Mayor says she'll stand again to provide continuity and leadership during an important period for the Adelaide City Council. Experts fear power bills will go up without more money spent on renewable energy. More from Gabrielle Hodson.
The federal government's clean energy targets are looking shaky, with investment in renewable energy sinking to a 10-year low and $4 billion wiped out in the past year. The Clean Energy Council has told SMH The Age a year's delay on a major transmission line means a 20% rise in power bills. Its report says onshore wind farms have seen the sharpest decline in spending, 57% over a year. For solar farms, the drop's 5%. Consultants forecast the grid will be made up of 60% renewable energy by 2030, a long way off the 82% target.
A heatwave is lingering over parts of Europe, sending temperatures soaring above spring averages. The UK Met Office says parts of Greater London and South East England could reach 34 degrees. Gather Round has broken another economic record, delivering Adelaide Airport its busiest ever week in the state's history. Official passenger figures show almost 200,000 people travelled through the airport in the week leading up to and during the event, the largest weekly air travel crowd ever. A record-breaking 270,018 fans attended Gather Round, beating last year's record of 269,506. Men's mental health advocates are pushing for more programs to support new dads. Data showing 60% of new fathers were never asked about their mental well-being during their partner's pregnancy or the first after birth. Movember Research Director Dr. Zach Seidler says the message from men is clear.
They are willing and able. They are really wanting to be the best fathers that they can be. They are trying to learn from the mistakes of past generations, and we need to make sure that we can offer them supports, within community, within the health system, to be able to thrive.
More than 2 in 5 Australian women are giving birth via caesarean. Midwives say the most likely reason is women are having babies at an older age. They are at higher levels of chronic disease and obesity. They're even blaming the prevalence of private health insurance. And Aussie sprinter Gout will have his image on a Vegemite jar. The limited edition jar is set to become a collector's item. Turning to 5AA Sport.
From designer to traditional or contemporary, there's a Gliderol garage door to match your home. Gliderol.com.au.
I reckon you have a jar of Gout Vegemite. Jace Kemp, good morning.
Oh, definitely a collector's item, Matty. And let's start with tennis first. Alex de Minaur is through to the second round of the French Open after a straight sets win. The Aussie breezed past British qualifier Toby Samuel. de Minaur says he's just happy to be on the board.
You know, never easy starting first match of a tournament, but to get the win in straight sets, I thought I played a very consistent match. I did what I needed to do, and yeah, happy to be in the next round.
Meanwhile, local hope Thanasi Kokonakis fought back from 2-1 down to also advance to the second round. To footy in Port Adelaide will have 3 spots available for tonight's mid-season draft. It comes after Josh Sin was moved to the inactive list after a shoulder reconstruction. Assistant coach Luke Webster says it's unfortunate for the defender.
You know, there was hopefully an opportunity that we're going to get him back to play some sort of footy this year, and he put himself in that best position. But, you know, as the year has worn on, it's sort of got to a point where it's like, are we going to get much out of him? How many games is he actually going to play? Do we start to look to set him up for his best opportunity to play his best footy next year? And that's the path we've gone down.
And finally, a major blow for Socceroos star Riley McGree, set to miss the upcoming FIFA World Cup. McGree went down with a hamstring injury in the championship playoff overnight. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Jace. A shower or two for Adelaide today, 19. For tomorrow as well, partly cloudy Thursday, 18. Showers increasing on Friday and 19. Currently in the city, it's 10 degrees. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Kids don't want to wait. The sooner, the better. Every moment is a chance to learn and grow. And they're right, it is. The first few years of a child's development play a hugely important part in their future, in learning and in life. That's why the state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026. Because the sooner they start, the further they can go. Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
There's one hybrid with an engine so smooth, you could play a vinyl record on top of it. In fact, that's what you're listening to right now. This record is being played smoothly on top of a Honda CR-V, all without skipping a beat. And if you think that's smooth, get this. Visit Formula Honda now and make the Honda CR-V yours from just $49,900. The new Honda Hybrid CR-V from Formula Honda. Smooth sailing. T's and C's apply.
Planning your next event? Choose a venue where everything comes together. Adelaide Convention Centre. It's where your vision and our expertise come together. Where creative cuisine meets extraordinary productions and excitement and innovation combine in a space that is truly world class. From corporate gatherings to grand celebrations, we make every occasion unforgettable. Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre and start planning your next event today.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
You can rely on Red Spot to keep Aussie airport rentals fair. We're the only car rental company who have kept our prices low during the fuel crisis. And we're the only Aussie-owned and operated choice in major airport terminals all over the country. Experience the local service that saw us named Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year. For a deal you can rely on, book your next rental direct at redspot.com.au today or call 1300 66 8810.
Red Spot.
Thanks to you, FIVEAA Milk Company celebrates an incredible milestone. 20 years. For 2 decades, local farming families have woken before sunrise, worked through drought and rising costs, so we can all enjoy the freshest milk available. So, when you choose FIVEAA Milk Company, you're part of that 20-year legacy too. Backing local farms, local jobs and local families. Look for FIVEAA Milk Company products at your supermarket. And let's keep a good thing going.
Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22-7, CanStar put out some survey data regarding the weird things people see on their security cameras. Got us thinking this morning about our listeners that have got security cameras. Why did you put them in? Have you ever seen anything strange? Lots of stories coming through on the text line. You can call us 218 223 0000, like Raymond in Salisbury Plains has. Raymond, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Will. Good morning, David, and good morning, Adelaide.
Tell us about your security cameras.
Well, I had the misfortune of having a parcel stolen from my porch at home, which prompted me to get security camera for home. But the other thing was I have an Airbnb, and I found that I had a lot of people booking the place for, say, 1 or 2 people, and there'd be like 6 or 7 people rock up. So in an effort to, counter that, because, I charge per head after the first 2, I had a security camera fitted to the front of the house to see how many people were actually rocking up.
Well, that's fair enough, Raymond, because you need to pay for all the cleaning. So if suddenly like 6 beds have been used, you're on the hook for the cost of the laundry.
Exactly, and it's set up for like 6 people, but if people are rocking up and there's a heap of them and using up all water and bits and pieces, and it's not right, is it? So unfortunately, I had to go down the road of putting a camera in to catch a few of these people out, and it paid for itself pretty quickly, unfortunately. But
that's a common theme that's coming through, Raymond. Thank you for that, Raymond in Salisbury Plains. People, it feels like Australians are reluctant to put in security cameras in their home. They do so out of necessity, and then they end up going, actually, it was a good decision. That's certainly the theme that's come through with our callers this morning. Let's talk about heating your home. Chris Barnes is a household expert with Choice, and we wanted to get Chris on to talk about some of the little tips and tricks you can use as we're starting to get into the cooler winter months. I mean, for example, right now, it's 10.2 degrees outside, but feels like 8.3. We're getting to some seriously cool sorts of mornings. Chris, good morning to you. What's sort of the low-hanging fruit in terms of warming your home but not breaking the bank?
Yeah, good morning. Look, it certainly is time to start thinking about keeping warm. Look, I always like to break this down into about 3 different things to think about. What do you need to do about your home? What's the best appliance to heat the room that you're in? And then, maybe just look at heating yourself directly instead of trying to heat up the whole room or the whole house. So simple tricks for improving your home. Now, most Australian homes are pretty drafty, so a lot of that heat gets lost out under the door or around the cracks around the windows. So give your house a good check out. Do you have ceiling insulation? That's a big heat loss. That could be worth looking into. Get the old door snakes out, stop the drafts under the door, check around the window frames. That's often where some heat loss happens. And good window coverings and floor coverings make a big difference as well. So even if you can't invest in something major like ceiling insulation, you can still roll out the rugs, put out the door snakes, and do a lot to just keep that heat inside the home.
To your third point, Chris, I was a late onset convert to the cause of the Ugg boot. I can't imagine life without Ugg boots now in winter. They are brilliant. And like if the old saying, if your feet are warm, generally everything else is going to be okay. Like there is a lot to be said for not responding to a drop in temperature by immediately working out which switch you can put on. You can self-regulate a bit, can't you?
Oh, totally, yeah. Look, I'm wearing my sheepskin slippers right now, so I'm a big believer as well. Look, I mean, it sounds silly to say it, but the cheapest appliance to run is the one that you don't turn on. So put on a jumper. All that old advice that mum and dad or grandparents used to tell us. That's a big one. If you do have to turn on an appliance, if the jumper and the slippers aren't enough. You can look at something like an electric blanket or a heated throw, instead of heating up the whole room. Now, that's going to be a lot cheaper to run over a winter than turning on the air conditioner or putting on the portable electric heater, for example.
When it comes to the powered stuff, though, Chris, does Choice have a sort of preference about, what's the best way to go, ducted, refrigerated, or it sort of varies from home to home, doesn't it?
Oh, look, it does vary a lot from home to home. But look, in the long run, reverse cycle air conditioning is the most energy efficient way to actually heat a large space. It will save you money in the long term. Obviously, you've got a bit of an upfront investment with that one. Portable electric heaters, as another example, very cheap, reasonably cheap to buy, very convenient. You can move them from room to room. But in the long run, they will cost you a bomb to run, especially if you're thinking of trying to, maybe put a couple of them on throughout the house to keep the rooms warm. That will cost you a lot. Just to give you a quick example, a small reverse cycle aircon over winter probably cost you in the order of $150 to run. A small gas heater, roughly equivalent in heating, more closer to $300. And a portable electric heater, again, roughly the same in terms of heat output, going to cost you over $400 over winter to run. Now, you can see how over a few winters that's going to add up pretty quickly.
It's great information, Chris. Thank you for that. Chris Barnes, Choice's household expert on some of those ways you can keep your house warm but not spend a fortune doing it. We've got tips of your own, folks. We'd like to hear them. 8223 0000. How do you stay warm? Chris jogged my memory then. The door snake. Mum was big on the door snakes, and my brother and I used to use them to belt the hell out of each other.
Oh, they're good too.
They were just weaponised. Oh, yeah, they got a right amount of weight.
Like grains of wheat.
Yes.
Like you can really... smash someone quite comprehensively.
Yeah, if you hit him at the right angle, you get a real whiplash effect.
That's right.
Crikey.
I was reminded during that chat of Jimmy Carter. He was famously pilloried for that address to the nation during the oil shock, where he said, "My first advice would be wear a sweater." And people said, "How out of touch?" It's actually really good advice.
Yeah, as it turns out.
Ugg boots, though.
Yes.
You need a pair of Ugg boots. It just, the moment it's like, well, the last week's a good example.
They raise your body temperature by about 3 degrees the moment you put them on.
Yeah. All is good in the world when you've got your Ugg boots on.
Scientifically tested that. That's anecdotal.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing them down to the supermarket either. I'm an advocate of the Ugg boot as outdoor wear.
100%.
Maybe not to a restaurant.
No. Job interview?
No, probably not. Court appearance. But no, Foodland, Drake's.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This is Australia. We're going to stand for something.
Exactly.
Let's go to Henley Beach. Andy, you got security cameras at your place?
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Andy.
We had everything, never had a bit of trouble ever until we got the old off-road caravan out, put the roof up on it to air it one sunny day to head to the off-road into the Flinders. So we had the caravan set in the driveway, door open, and we were putting all the new gear in it. Brand spanking new, wee generator, wee flat television, kettle, toaster, everything you need to be sustainable off-road. We went back indoors, had a bit of lunch, came back out, everything was gone.
No.
Oh, no, mate, really?
From inside the caravan, they left the van. But they've obviously been watching, wherever, whenever. We went in, bit of lunch. Within the space of half an hour, we went back out, and I'm looking about going, where's the generator? Oh, she must have moved it somewhere. Where's the oh, she must have moved that somewhere. Went back in. What did you do with the TV and the... Nothing. Nick, some bugger had gone in and stolen a whole lot.
So thousands of dollars worth of
stuff. We've got cameras. Yeah, we've got cameras. So it's a good deterrent. If you don't have cameras, if you've not had trouble, it's a deterrent, because these buggers are going about the suburbs. Even now, it's worse. Just checking on doors, looking for opportunities,
Where was the caravan when this happened, Andy?
In the driveway.
So it's just at your home. Wow.
Yeah, up the side of the house. And it was a summer's day. It was broad daylight.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing, mate.
Andy, thank you. A lot of stories like that coming through. 8223 0000 is the number. This is good. Joe on the text line says, as an ex-court officer, Ugg boots were the, quote, uniform for court appearances. So Joe's vouching for the Ugg boot being worn to court. All right, let's head to the Weather Bureau. Hannah Marsh joins us. Hannah, we've been talking about keeping your house warm and saving money because it is cool at the moment in the mornings. Good morning to you.
Absolutely. Good morning. We've had minimums range from 3.2 degrees at Nooryapa up to 10.5 degrees at Noarlunga. We've had a minimum of 9.8 in the city, and we're currently sitting on 10.3 degrees. Now, the low-pressure system that has brought us that shower activity yesterday and overnight has continued to move very slowly just to the northwest of Kangaroo Island. There is the chance that we do see a spot or two as we head through today, but not expecting much in it for the metropolitan area. Looking at maximums of 18 degrees in the city, Elizabeth and Glenelg and Noarlunga, and 17 for Mount Barker today. And then again tomorrow, just the chance of a shower or two, and 19 degrees, partly cloudy, and 18 for Thursday, before we see another frontal system bring the return of shower activity for the weekend.
Good stuff, Hannah. Thanks for that. Hannah Marsh there at the Weather Bureau. Good rain at the moment.
It certainly is, and it's nice and consistent. Let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan joins us. Jen, 4 men have been arrested in a stolen car at West Theberton.
Yes, that's right. Good morning. It was just after 10 o'clock last night when police spotted an Isuzu ute on Glen Osmond Road, which was bearing stolen plates. Now, they didn't attempt to stop the vehicle, but called in Paul to assist from above. And the ute was followed onto Ann Street at West Eberdon, where it actually collided with an unmarked police dog operations vehicle. Luckily, there was no injuries there. But all 4 men ran from the scene. 2 were located nearby and 2 fled to a nearby roof. So after a short amount of negotiations, they both came down without incident. But those 4 men are all aged between 19 and 33. They've been arrested and charged with illegal use, and they're all going to appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today. So the vehicles actually had been stolen from Ceduna earlier this month.
Jen, also serious crash in the far north.
Yeah, and this was just after 12:30 this morning. Emergency services have been called to the Stewart Highway, about 100 kilometres north of Glendambo, after reports of that collision between a road train and a vehicle. Now, the Stewart Highway is currently closed in both directions and is expected to be closed for some time. So we do ask if motorists are travelling north to please stop at Glendambo, and those that are travelling south should stop at Coober PD. Major crash investigators are en route to the scene, and we do anticipate that road to be closed for quite some time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disturbing story there too, Jen. Thank you for that. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL. I really like our good mate Rob's proposal here, or not a proposal, he says he's already doing it. He says he's taking part in the unenhanced games, which is just a bunch of overweight blokes on the couch watching sports, seeing who can eat the most chips.
That sounds like I could hold my own in that competition, I think. That's well within the remit. Excellent work,
We
Rob.
organised this thing years ago with some mates, the Crown and Anchor Pub Olympics, where there were a whole bunch of bands that played, but it was a Sunday, and there were all these different divisions, all these different competitions. Darts, pinball, there was running around the block as well. So there was a sprint around the
That would have been quite the sight.
But from memory, you had to do it while holding a jug of a drink that a mate of mine had invented, which was called the Whyalla Sunrise, which was half Fanta, half Moselle. Seriously.
All gross.
Oh, yeah. And it got to the point, Don was the publican, Don Copeland. Hope Don's listening to the show. He works in wineries down south now. Great bloke. Very tolerant man. But it got to the point at the cranker where you could walk in and say, I'll have a Whyalla, thanks. And they knew exactly what to give you.
It must be the Olympics.
They had Pinbot as well. Pinbot, one of the all-time great pinball machines.
It's your favourite turn of phrase, but did you medal?
I think I did all right in the darts.
Yeah. All right, let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads not looking too bad today. Got a small bingle getting sorted at the moment at North Adelaide, O'Connell Street near Ward Street. Valley View, concrete getting poured at the moment. Grand Junction Road near Suthold Road. Grand Junction Road near Sutholds Road. And it is slow at the moment, South Road through Edwards in front of Castle Plaza with that old bitumen being ripped up. Cameras, Bolivar Road, Burton and Kings Road, Parallel this morning. Get half price off RRP on Blackmores at Chemist Warehouse. Yes, half price Blackmores. Hurry ends Wednesday. Excludes bulk sizes. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
We love to see you see my lane.
The next generation Hilux is in stock right now at CMI Toyota, SA's #1 selling Toyota dealer. Get in for great deals across the range, including brand new Hilux Workmate 4x2 with alloy tray from just $41,320 drive away. View the range at cmitoyota.com.au or visit CMI Toyota today.
We love to see you see my lane.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Launch your potential at Adelaide University and make a difference locally and globally through future-focused learning. Join a supportive academic community with access to world-class resources and industry leaders. Build your connections through practical learning opportunities and graduate ready for the workplace. Search Adelaide University now and get ready to launch your future.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Donate to SAMRI and help fund breakthrough research tackling fatty plaque and heart disease. Visit samri.org.au to find out more. Manix is a name you know and trust for everything in air conditioning. With a huge range, unbeatable prices and the right advice, nobody beats Manix. 5AA, supporting local business.
Well, eBay's now free to sell for suit sellers, boot sellers, antique wooden flute sellers, blingy sellers, dingy sellers, belts with tassel thingy sellers, selling shiny pants designed in France, or vinyls of Ibiza trance, or mini model plane propellers. It's free to sell for all you sellers.
It's now free to sell on eBay, so you keep more of what you earn. No transaction fees on your sales, not available to pro sellers. See full terms on eBay.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 to 7, we've been inundated with Golden Sack Truck nominations, many of which we'll read out on Golden Sack Truck Nomination Day, which is on Friday, and we'll ultimately award the sack truck. Some, though, deserve more immediate attention, and so we bring you Deb Trengove, who sent us her story. Deb's on the line now. Deb, good morning to you.
Hi, how are you?
Well, Deb. Tell us what happened to you.
Well, it was actually sort of towards the end of last year now, but I have two elderly aunts who live in McLaren Street in the city, just off Hutt Street, and they're 95 and 89. They live independently, and they recently sort of can't drive so much. So I organised to go and pick them up to take them out for a family coffee. And I picked them up, and we dropped them home, my husband and I. And they're both struggling a bit with mobility, so they've got walking sticks and things. And I pulled up at their house to drop them off afterwards at about 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And I pulled up across their driveway because they do still have a car in their driveway. I pulled out. I was driving. I stopped. I had my brake lights on. My husband actually jumped out of the car to open the doors for them to let them out so that they could just get to their driveway and get into their house. We were literally there 2 minutes, and a few weeks later I got an $80 fine for stopping on a yellow line, which I didn't even realise had been added there. Apparently it's only been put there in more recent times. So I thought, well, this is ridiculous. I'll write a very, polite letter to the council and say, this is what I was doing. I can get my aunties to write a declaration if you want to, that they're, FIVEAA. Anyway, I got a letter back saying this doesn't fit the criteria for an exemption. If you want to take it further, you can go to the ombudsman or go to court.
That is ridiculous.
That is outrageous.
So, Deb,
we were literally there for 2 minutes.
Well, that's it. So they're out of the yellow lines. But also the fact that it was their car. So how are you going to block them
in
if
their
they're
driveway,
with you in your car?
Yep. That's right. So my auntie was the 95-year-old who's got a bit of spunk about her. She took it. She was disgusted. So she wrote a letter to the council also, got the same answer and got flicked to another person, and they just said, too bad, that's the rule. And she actually rang them and said, well, what do you want us to do? We're elderly people, we're getting picked up in taxis, our kids are picking us up. And they said, well, you'll have to just stop in the middle of the road.
Deb,
you have to stop in the middle of the road.
So that would block the one-way lane that they're in. And we'd have to stop in. And so if they have deliveries or anything, they've just got to stop in the middle of the road.
See, Deb, I actually know the area you were talking about exactly because in 1990, I lived in a share house in McLaren Street. And it's one of the narrowest and prettiest streets in the city of Adelaide.
It's beautiful.
Tucked in there behind, I can't remember the name of the cafe. It used to be Cafe Violet.
Yeah, there's a bar on the corner there, Lateria or something.
Yeah, that's
now.
right.
But there used to be a bank when they've been there for 35 years. So it's changed a lot. But the parking's a nightmare.
Oh, of course.
And the other suggestion they had was that we move my auntie's car out of the driveway when we're coming to pick them up. So
but where do you put the car when that's happening? This is absurd.
My 95-year-old auntie would have to drive around into Halifax or park somewhere else, which is only a 1 or 2 hours anyway. and then walk back with her walking stick so that we could pull into her driveway to pick her up.
It's so silly. I mean, there needs to be some sort of more pragmatism with the street that is that narrow. Like, I mean, it was one of the good things about Sydney, like Balmain, places like that. People stop in all sorts of weird spots, but you know they're only doing it briefly because otherwise they can't get in or out.
Exactly. So it must have been a car. We assume it was a car camera because, you know, I don't know how they do it, but is there a mobile car or something that takes photos now?
Yeah, they do take photos.
Maybe.
Yeah. So my auntie thinks that perhaps was what it was, but 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, give us a break, honestly.
Indeed, Deb. That is an outrageous
got one
story.
hand on the golden sack
I
truck,
reckon.
though, so some good has come of this.
That
Good
is
on you,
like
Deb.
the morality of a comic book villain. It is as though all of these decisions are determined by an artificial intelligence. I can't believe a human being hears any of these stories, but clearly they do. I just can't fathom it.
I mean, there's clearly one human being, at least at the Adelaide Hills Council, who heard that there was one complaint about dogs being located at a cafe for dogs, and went, well, I'd better act on this.
Their hands were tied. Our hands are tied.
Nothing we can do. There was a problem, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Oh, and how lovely does Deb sound and her family and driving around her elderly relatives?
Yeah.
Oh, we're really cracking down on society's miscreants at local government level, aren't we?
I tell you what, it's come to our attention that some people are spending several seconds unloading their infirm elderly relatives to have coffee with them on the weekend.
Stay about that kind of silliness.
Not on my watch.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two at 19 with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
4 men will face court today after crashing a ute stolen from Sejuna at West Theberton last night. Police spotted the vehicle on Glen Osmond Road at 10 o'clock and it sped away. Police calling in Polaire to keep a watch of it from above. Senior Constable Jen Callanan says the ute then collided with an unmarked police dog squad vehicle. Fortunately, no one was injured.
But all 4 men ran from the scene. 2 were located nearby and 2 fled to a nearby roof. So after a short amount of negotiations, they both came down without incident. But those 4 men are all aged between 19 and 33. They've been arrested and charged with illegal use, and they're all going to appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
Iran says a deal with the US to end the ongoing conflict is not imminent. A spokesperson from Iran saying the parties are in agreement on a large portion of issues. There had been hopes an agreement could be locked in within days. Another group of women and children with links to Islamic State face arrest as soon as they land in Australia. Federal Politics Editor Michael Packey.
About 6 women and 14 children are on their way to Australia after leaving their detention camp in northern Syria last week. The group is believed to be the last cohort of Australian citizens that had been at the facility. The so-called ISIS brides are expected to be home later today. It's understood 9 will land in Melbourne, the rest in Sydney. The federal government maintains it's not providing the group with any help other than having issued them with a passport, which they're legally required to do. Like the cohort of women and children who arrived earlier this month, some are likely to be arrested once they touch down.
In Queensland, a crime scene has been established at an Ipswich home as police probe the death of a child. First responders found the child unresponsive at a home in Lourwood just after 11 last night. A 31-year-old woman known to the child is speaking with police and they're treating the investigation as homicide. Nearly 5 million Australians claim to have been ripped off by a taxi or rideshare driver. A Finder survey uncovering dodgy tactics ranging from fake broken meters to deliberately taking longer routes. The group's Taylor Blackburn says it's an industry ripe for rip-offs.
I think it's especially bad with folks leaving the airport. There's a couple extra buttons get pushed on the meter, or you just kind of assume, well, it costs what it costs, and then people wait and scratch their head and go, wait a minute, how was that just $100 for that 30-minute ride?
Figures show investment in renewable energy projects has collapsed by 50% in the last year. The Clean Energy Council warns the decline threatens to stall momentum in the shift to renewables. And Europe is sweltering in a heat wave. Temperatures across the UK in the mid-30s. Michael Kill from London's Nighttime Industries Association says they're just not used to it.
We don't have any air conditioning. Fans are about the best that we have. We're just not built, this country's not built for that sort of temperature. So, yeah, I mean, sunscreens and things like that, I mean, curtains drawn is about the best of it.
Turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol garage doors are proudly and brilliantly made right in South Australia. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Jace Camp.
Thank you, Matty. Let's start with tennis. And Thanasi Kokkinakis has put retirement thoughts on hold with a 5-set win in the opening round of the French Open. Craig Gabriel reports.
Thanasi Kokkinakis was incredible. His opponent served for the match in the fifth and was up 5-2, but Kokkinakis kept coming back and he beat Terence Atman 6-7, 6-2, 4-6, 6-3, 7-5. Kokkinakis has been riddled with injuries his whole career. Last year, he had an Achilles tendon from a dead man implanted into his shoulder. Alex de Minaur and Daria Kasatkina had straight set wins, but there were losses for Maya Joint, Talia Gibson and Emerson Jones, who lost to Iga Swiatek.
The Bombers have the first pick in tonight's mid-season rookie draft. The Crows have one spot available, while Port Adelaide could take up to 3 players. Both SA clubs also have the bye this week. Power assistant Luke Webster has told the 5AA Sports Show it's a chance to reset.
A bit of a mid-season review of all the areas and where we think some little wins might be in the second half of the year or any adjustments we might need to make. And then the players will do some wizardry and some craft work tomorrow, and then Wednesday main session.
A huge blow for the Socceroos ahead of the FIFA World Cup, with Riley McGree set to miss the tournament with a hamstring injury. The South Aussie limped off during the Championship playoff final and has now been ruled out of the tournament. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Jace. Checking the roads around Adelaide this morning.
Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Their roads aren't looking too bad for the run-in today. Got a small bingle getting sorted at the moment in North Adelaide, O'Connell Street near Ward Street, but outside of that, should have a pretty smooth run to work, which is nice. Got work to Parahurst West, keep an eye on. Bridge Road near Somerset Road. Also activity at West Beach, Tapley's Hill Road near Bear Bridge Road, and slow going at the moment South Road at Edward Sound in front of Castle Plaza. Early morning Canberra to look out for. Cavan Road, Dry Creek. Abolish net zero, save up to $1.9 trillion, increase pensions by 30%. Newdeal.au, authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party Gold Coast. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast a shower or two, 19 today and tomorrow. Partly cloudy on Thursday, 18. Showers increasing on Friday, 19. Currently, it's 10 degrees. 5AA, always Adelaide.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you joining us on this Tuesday, the 26th of May. Another cool sort of a start. Some breaking news in the world of the AFL. Brad Scott has been sacked as the coach of the Essendon Football Club. That's
really
just information out of Victoria. We don't have anything in the way of official statement or anything yet.
Jeez, Essendon, how the mighty have fallen, eh?
The Essendon Football Club,
sad.
Sitting stone, motherless last, 1-10, just 4 points from their first.
He was on one of the footy
rounds.
shows last week, and he had the sort of flustered countenance of a doomed man, where he was armed with all the statistics of how they'd improved these KPIs and those KPIs, and it was like, that sounds like an exit interview, not a going forward type interview.
It's hard to fathom when you consider that invincible side they had in the year 2000, where they lost, one game?
Yeah.
To the Bulldogs.
3 in a row, that one, didn't they? Flags.
No. I think they won. It was just that one.
I thought they won a few.
No, I reckon it was just that 1 year. That remarkable side, the futility of the next 26 years, 25 years is it's hard to get your head around. So anyway, that's news. Literally
Who gets it?
Just out. Well, it's a
Is
great
Ken
question.
Hinkley in the mix?
Well, Ken Hinkley is certainly someone that's being talked about at the moment. It depends if they want to go down the retread or it's an awful turn of phrase, the experienced coach or someone new. But the experienced coaches that have been talked about for these jobs, and obviously Tassie's looming, are people like Nathan Buckley and Ken Hinkley, and there'll be others that drop out. Adam Simpson still sort of gets talked about, despite how the West Coast tenure sort of ended. So that is some breaking news out of the AFL that just is to hand this morning. Lots happening in Canberra. Phil Curry will bring us up to speed with what the concessions are likely to be around the capital gains tax changes announced at the federal budget. Wide consultation with industry that is getting wider by the minute. Read into that what you will, but it would seem like things are going to change between now and when this legislation is ultimately brought before Parliament. Phil will talk a little bit about that. He'll talk about the politics of bundling it all together, which means if the coalition wants to vote against the changes, they'll be voting against a tax cut, which will be the politics of how this ultimately plays out. So
I'll tell you what, the thing that really sticks in my craw is that the philosophy behind a lot of the budget is obviously we can't go on spending forever, and that's one of the sort of arguments that they've used to justify things like pulling the rug out from under older Australians with the private health insurance rebate that they no longer get when they turn 65. So you've got to keep paying at the rate that you were. Well, it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. How's this at the same time everyone else has been told, look, we can't keep sort of living on the never. We're hearing it in the NDIS where they're trying to save billions of dollars by tightening that up. Well, front page of the Australian today, Chris Bowen has assembled an army of more than 100 bureaucrats to help him with his COP president mission. This is the big climate organisation. His department has billed taxpayers almost $500,000 in just 4 months to send the officials overseas to assist the climate change minister with his global green negotiations. Taxpayers will be slugged almost $150 million for Mr. Bowen's role as climate of the party's president.
Hang on, say that again, $150 million?
Yeah, that's just so he can travel around negotiating with all of these people at this quango. And as part of the bill, the government approved his staff to spend $485,602, so just shy of $500,000, on trips to Turkey, Fiji, Germany and Korea between January and February this year. They all flew business class. There were 25 return flights on every occasion, always business class. The flights alone were $345,000. And this is the bit that really sticks in my craw. This included at least 30 employees who were directly employed in what's known as Mr. Bowen's, quote, Office of the President.
30?
Yeah.
And he calls it the Office of the President.
The Office of the President.
Good Lord. Here he is on Sunrise in just the last few moments defending that travel, that range of travel claims.
They would have flown the normal standard of travel for a public servant, which is business class, which is the same under all governments. And again,
even to Fiji, that's 3 hours from Sydney.
Well, and again, Scott Morrison took 30 people to COP in Glasgow.
Are we still talking about a previous government? Let's talk about now.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have been in for 4 years, so it's probably good to talk about you guys. So do you think it's appropriate for public servants to be flying business class on a 3-hour flight from
Look,
Sydney
there's always a value for money assessment given to every travel. You know, whether they should go, whether it can be done virtually, etc.
Jeez.
I mean, you know what? In a nutshell, there is the one nation vote.
Completely.
There it is. People hear that and say, "I've had enough. I've had enough
of
this."
Just the one nation vote. It's also the teal vote. It's people just going, crying out loud.
Yeah, did you see the latest poll overnight? The green vote has crept up significantly. It's a population of people that are sick of this. Well, Scott Morrison, they did it now, so we can do it. And
it's just lame.
It's pathetic.
There's another thing that I just started looking at it this morning and I'm watching it now, just swearing profanities on the balcony as I was watching it before the start of the show. There's someone I've never heard of from Western Australia, Senator Ellie Whittaker, who's, this new trend of doing all these social media posts to talk about politics. She's done a video where she's holding a plastic, like a little like one of those squishy toys. She's got a squishy zebra and a squishy giraffe, and they've each got a house, and they've got different coloured balls. And she's explaining how negative gearing works and how the giraffe's getting too many balls from the zebra, and it's sort of like play school style. This is talking about people's actual long-standing financial arrangements to fund their retirements, to set their kids up, to make sure that some of the benefits from the hard work they did through their lives is passed on to their own children. And you've got some 200K a year hack who's probably been put in there because she kissed the right factional butt, total sort of public sector job security and everything else, come up through the ranks, and you think, you'll put that... What a tin ear can you have? In the same way Bowen and this spending and the explanation he just gave.
He's treating the taxpayer with absolute contempt. Because what you're actually hearing is what they think of you. They think you hear, well, Scott Morrison said, well, we did it. And so you'll go, oh, well. They think you'll see someone playing with toy blocks and go, oh, that's interesting. Is that how it all works? They think you're stupid.
Yeah.
This is so.
It's actually a worldwide phenomenon now.
It is.
Where
it is.
The Tories have collapsed. Labor's collapsing in Britain. Like, people are just at the point where you feed people enough bullshit long enough, and eventually they just check out. And
well, look, it's like fashion, isn't it? It's more sophisticated than fashion, but it's a bit like fashion because we're all connected by social media now, and you can look over and go, well, if it's good enough for them, why are we captured by the two-party system? If it works in that country, why are we sitting here putting up with this kind of infantile explanation of very serious concepts that are affecting people?
It's actually really serious, though, because I don't know what a one-nation government would look like, and I thought that Scott Pape, the Barefoot Investor, made a good passing point in his column on Sunday where he said, so what are we now? Are we now at a point where, like, the biggest economic policy Pauline Hanson's ever announced was when she was asked, well, how are you going to pay for some of your items? She said, well, just print more money. Like, that's not made up. That's what she actually said. But equally, these little snippets tell a bigger story. There's a program on Insight and SBS this week about the rise of One Nation. And there's this guy in the crowd who just looks like a normal knockabout bloke. And he's asked, what do you think of One Nation's policies and agenda, and do you actually know what they are? And he just looks at the camera and he goes, well, it couldn't be worse than anything we've got now. And that's a really hard argument to counter, because you hear that shit from Chris Bowen, and you look at the video from that no-name senator from Western Australia, and you think, stuff the lot of you.
This is reaping season for One Nation, Teals, and the Greens. You're absolutely right. Hey, here's a palate cleanser. Have a listen to Neil Danaher's Australian of the Year speech, or a little bit of it, from just last year.
In my lifetime, I hope we find the underlying causes of MND, better treatments, and, ultimately, a cure. But beyond that, I hope to leave a legacy that says this: no matter the odds, no matter the diagnosis, we all have the power to choose to fight, to choose our attitude, to choose to smile, and to choose to do something, because the mark of a person isn't what they say, it's what they do. Tonight, I'm grateful and honoured to be Australian of the Year.
He spent that time remarkably. He spent his last 13 years on this earth remarkably. I was talking to my wife about it last night. This was a man that was beloved before this happened.
Yeah.
This is a really good human being that people loved in footy. Great character, warm human being that just people liked. And then this awful tragedy befalls him, and then he fights it like he did, and in the process changes the entire nation's perception of this disease, and raises so much money in the process of fighting it. We're going to talk after 8:30 today, and I think this is going to be probably the best interview you're going to hear today with the CEO of the MND Australia, Claire Sullivan, about the legacy of Neil Danaher. So make sure you don't miss that a little bit later on 5AA Breakfast.
A hell of a lot of text to the conversation we were having earlier about this Chris Bowen stuff. Brent says, so Chris Bowen and his flying circus couldn't give Australians $275 in electricity help as promised, yet they can take that money to jet wherever they want at exorbitant rates. What a farce. A mountain of texts along those lines. And Helen says, we're all being treated like village idiots. Indeed. Thank you for that, Helen.
I want to go back just briefly because Rob's text made me chuckle with regard to Deb calling us before 7 o'clock this morning with the Golden Sack Truck nomination. She says, government, this is Rob, can't find $7 billion worth of illegal tobacco, but you stop for 10 seconds on or near a yellow line and we're on the spot, quivering with anticipation and photographing the crime. This is remarkable. Where did he get the yellow line people in charge of organised crime?
Yeah, imagine that.
We need to flip the script on this.
I reckon by Friday the Iranian cartels smuggling illegal darts into Australia would surrender.
All right.
They go, bloody hell, we hadn't counted on the Charles Sturt Council.
Let's give away some Best of SA tickets, shall we? We are just a couple of weeks away from our big night, and it's going to be the biggest one we've ever had, celebrating 50 years of 5AA. In the process, we're celebrating wonderful South Australian businesses like Harcourts.
Today, we're celebrating Harcourts Port Adelaide Largs Bay, led by Callan Lister, who I just happen to have with me right now. Why did you bring an office to Port Adelaide Largs Bay?
Well, we saw an opportunity here in the port with all the new developments going up along the coast. A lot of heritage buildings that haven't been used for quite some time that are now coming to life, my building included. Obviously new pubs, new restaurants opening up, the new shopping districts that have been built here. A lot of people have sort of moved out this way. We've helped a lot of people move from north or south to go west. It's been a bit of a draw card. The investment that's coming along the coast with new developments and renovations and businesses moving here, it's certainly one to watch.
If someone's deciding to sell or just thinking about it, what are the key benefits of getting in touch with you and your team?
I think it's more so our experience in the area and in the space of real estate, negotiating to get the best price and also help people find their forever homes. We have an experienced team that are keen to help and we treat everyone like family. Just get in touch with us, let us know what you're looking for and we can try and help you find something. We're always meeting new people in the community that are looking to make a move or go to their next step, and if we can try and help everyone as much as we can, get in touch, let us know and we'll try and find your dream home.
What do you love about this area?
I think the fact that I grew up here and coming back to where I grew up is sort of something that's special to me. I know more about the area and it's good to see it from when I was younger to now, and to be part of that change is pretty special.
Lastly, where can we find your office?
71 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. You'll see it. It's fully renovated from top to bottom and we're excited to meet anyone that wants to come in.
Get calling now for your chance to win a $100 bottle of wine and 2 tickets to our Best of SA dinner Friday the 12th of June at Adelaide Oval. When you sell your home with Harcourts Port Adelaide Largs Bay, you're choosing a team built on experience and results. 8223 0055 is the number. Get calling right now. We'll announce the winner on the other side of the break.
Morning there. Roads looking pretty good for the run in today. We're accident breakdown free. Nice smooth run and traffic really light. Enjoy that while you can. Do have a few weeks to keep in mind. You'll find those at Mawson Lakes, Port Wakefield Road near Globe Derby Drive. Bits lanes at West Beach already this morning for those works on Tapley's Hill Road near Bearbridge Road, and concrete pour at the moment at Valley View, Grand Junction Road near Sutholts Road. Early morning camera, May Terrace at Lockleys. Did you know this big freeze you don't need a seat of the G to fight against MND? Donate by grabbing your digital beanie online at bigfreeze.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
A subject matter that I've spoken about on numerous occasions, the Bluey TV series. It's a story that should make Australians proud. Instead, it leaves a sour taste. Reports now suggest Bluey merchandise and royalties could be generating close to $1 billion Australian dollars a year globally.
Graham Goodings.
In plain simple terms, Bluey merchandise would cover the entire running costs of our ABC.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
So I accidentally mentioned my Big D obsession in the group chat the other day. Now all the girls are talking about it. Kelly's getting Big Difference home improvements around to quote on some outdoor blinds. Zoe's thinking about a veranda and Belle wants it all. She's looking at a full package. Decking, pergola, roller shutters, everything. Stop fighting your Big D envy and just go with it. Get Big Difference home improvements around for a free measure and quote. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
For 20 years, FIVEAA Milk Company has been in your fridge, in your smoothies, kids' cereal or morning coffee. Through the good years and the tough ones, dairy farming hasn't been easy. But because you choose to back a bunch of passionate SA dairy farmers and continue to do so, we're still here. That's 20 years local families providing local jobs for our great state. Look for FIVEAA Milk Company products at your supermarket. And let's keep a good thing going.
Moving parcels big and small, Aussie Fast can take them all. Fast and reliable freight, logistics and courier solutions for businesses across Australia. Aussie Fast, proudly South Australian owned and operated for over 30 years. Aussie Fast offer prompt, reliable and on-time delivery. From interstate line haulage to local couriers and distribution, plus a huge, secure, fully monitored warehouse. All your freight right to your door. Call 13 13 64.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. walco.com.au.
Now, if you need to move from A to B this autumn, your best move is hiring from Budget Car and Truck Rental.
To get started, you need boxes and tape for storage and furniture covers to keep your possessions pristine. Well, Budget has you sorted.
Then you need the perfect set of wheels, and Budget has got them all. Cars big and small, moving vans and trucks available on a standard driver's licence, plus utes, hybrids, trailers, 12 to 25 seat buses and more.
Once you've chosen a vehicle, grab Budget's blankets and a trolley to ensure the move goes smooth.
Job done easy with Budget, a family-owned business with friendly staff you can count on and multiple locations across SA.
If you got something big to Budget with a Budget rental truck. Call 13 27 27.
You had a dream. Life happened. You parked it. Well, the dream is back. The Honda Prelude returns, reimagined for right now, for everyone who never stopped dreaming. See the icon for yourself at Formula Honda Glen Osmond or Modbury. The Prelude is reborn with hybrid efficiency, intuitive tech and instant torque. Welcome back, Prelude. Visit Formula Honda at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond or North East Road, Modbury and book a test drive today.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
26 after 7, Lauren Rose on 7 News last night broke an exclusive story and a remarkable story that tells among the saddest stories about the homelessness crisis in South Australia at the moment. And it featured a group of men who call Edinburgh Reserve in Modbury home. They've set up a tent city, a group of men there who, some of them have just gotten out of prison. They say there's literally nowhere for them to go. There is nowhere for them to live, so they've been given tarps by some generous people, and they've just made do in this park. Now, the locals there feel unsafe. They are sympathetic, but they are surprised at how this has developed close to them, but are universally sympathetic to the plight of these people. They get it. There's nowhere for them to go. Well, no one's done more than our next guest to try and find them lodgings. Sonia Blackwell is a local who just decided someone needed to do something and has tried to become that midway point between these homeless blokes and emergency accommodation. Sonia, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Sonia, can you give us a bit of a sense of what this group looks like, how many people there are and how long have they been there?
Oh, look, there's 8 blokes down there altogether, staying along that section of the creek. They've been there now for probably almost a couple of months. I put them there because it's very close to the Salvation Army where they can go and get breakfast and have a shower. And it was a place that I thought would have minimum impact on residents because there's no immediate residents in that area. It's sort of a little bit far away. So I thought that was an ideal spot to keep them until we got them housing.
So how is it with all of is it because all the homeless providers are so stretched at the moment, or are they the wrong type of housing providers? Do these guys have unique needs having just come out of jail?
Look, I've been supporting our homeless community now for several years, and it's my view that the government is doing it all wrong. They are actively keeping people on the streets because they have unrealistic expectations.
But
the models they have in place are not working.
Well, this clearly isn't a solution, though, is it? Like long term, you can't just have people living in parks indefinitely.
Oh, definitely not.
So, what's the hope?
Well, my hope is that the government will do things differently. I mean, what they're doing at the moment is not good enough. They've paid a heap of not-for-profits to holistically deal with homeless communities, and there's up to a 6-month waiting list just for case management. So if we get these guys signed up and engaging, there's still a 6-month wait the other side of winter. So what do they do in the meantime? Council keep giving them the move-on orders, but they're not providing an alternative location for them to go. And they have to go somewhere because they're our residents. Just because they don't have a house, they're still our residents. We need to look after them.
If you hadn't gotten involved, Sonia, who would be dealing with these guys? Or would they just be...
They would be probably taken off by the police by now and locked up. Just for existing. It's absolutely terrible what's happening. And unfortunately, with the council bylaws, they won't give them permission to camp there. And unfortunately, the ratepayers are the ones that have the power. If the ratepayers ring up or email council saying we want something done, council immediately jump into action, where the homeless people have no rights at all.
Are they causing any trouble, though, Sonia? Are there problems with drugs or alcohol? Is there anything like that happening?
Look, that virtually comes with the homeless community. However, these guys I've monitored very closely, and we've worked with council, and they've really tried very, very hard to do the right thing. They're keeping their camp clean. Unfortunately, though, the residents create lots of issues. They make false complaints. They target these individuals. They steal from them. They just don't want them there, and they're willing to make up any story to get rid of them. And this is the problem we have over and over again. You know, residents can be quite bullies about it and target people living on the streets, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, yeah, that may be true, but equally it's true the other way. I mean, I think of multiple examples of people going about their business who've actually been attacked by homeless people, and often that is a part of a bigger story involving inadequate mental health, inadequate drug services, the housing squeeze. But it doesn't also alter the fact that people sleeping rough can actually be the protagonists of unpleasant stuff. So I wouldn't totally go bagging the residents.
The point
here,
in the end is that it shouldn't be people that are living next to a reserve and probably local government. It shouldn't be up to those mechanisms to try and solve the homelessness crisis.
Well, yeah. There's a lot going on.
How do we get to this is the point where local residents having to sort it out?
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. We appreciate the chat.
Thank you, Sonia. An advocate
love to hear
for
from
those
local Modbury people about it as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from them. 8223 0000. Call in. A remarkable story and what is an extraordinary state of affairs.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two, 19 today, with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra offers Locomat and Armio robotic technology services at their Marion and Eastwood clinics. physioextra.com.
The Stewart Highway is closed between Coober Pedy and Glendambo in the far north. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says a crash between a road train and another vehicle occurred at 12:30 this morning.
We do ask if motorists are travelling north to please stop at Glendambo, and those that are travelling south should stop at Coober Pedy. Major crash investigators are en route to the scene, and we do anticipate that road to be closed for quite some time.
Some good news for business, but not so much for households with the default market offer price released by the Energy Market Regulator this morning. Business energy costs will fall in SA, flat tariffs by 7% or almost $400, a bigger saving for those on time of use tariffs. But residential customers on a flat rate tariff will see power prices rise by $33 or around 1.4%. It's the only rise in the energy market around the country. An Energy Minister, Tom Koutsantonis, says we need more gas.
It's about weather implications on the national electricity market and what it does for gas firming that electricity. So as gas is turned on to try and firm our renewables, that gas cost is expensive. We've got to get the cost of gas down, and from what I'm told, the firming costs have increased, as have infrastructure across the state.
An Australian doctor who's assisting in the repatriation of a second cohort of ISIS brides says it's much easier for security agencies to monitor their activities on home soil. 7 women and 6 children with links to Islamic State expected to arrive in Australia later in the day. Speaking with the Today program, Dr. Jamal Rifi, who's delivered passports to the group, says he has full confidence they have not been radicalised.
Those children have suffered the consequences of their parents' awful decision. It's not their fault. They are entitled for safety and security. And I believe all of Australians are safer and more secure once every one of those kids are here.
Alleged Bondi gunman Sajid Akram was reportedly the subject of 2 national security hotline tip-offs. The first call made in 2007 and the second in 2014 over concerns about his interests in Islamic State. Akram and his son Naveed were previously understood to have first come to the attention of authorities in 2019. An official in Iran is warning a deal with the US to end the conflict in the Middle East is not imminent. There had been hopes an agreement, including a 60-day ceasefire and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, could be locked in days. An Iranian foreign minister spokesperson says some progress had been made in talks. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it isn't necessarily a bad sign that nothing's locked in yet.
Hopefully we can pull it off. It has a lot of support in the Gulf. It has a lot of support globally. Every country that we've walked through it understands it's not just very reasonable, but it's the right thing for the world to get done. As the president said, he's not in a hurry. He's not going to make a bad deal. I mean, the president's not going to make a bad agreement.
Over 2 in 5 Australian women are giving birth through caesarean section. Gabrielle Hodson has more.
The rate of mothers giving birth via C-section has risen by 4.4% since 2020. Midwives have told News Corp the most likely reason is women having babies at an older age and with higher levels of chronic disease and obesity, higher rates of IVF. They're even blaming the prevalence of private health insurance. Mothers who've had one caesarean almost always need to have another for their next child. The Australian Institute of Health and Welfare says Victoria has the highest rate of C-sections at 42% and 54% of births in private hospitals are caesareans compared to 37% in public ones.
A Transport Workers Union survey shows 7 in 10 Australians are opposed to having driverless vehicles on our roads. 3/4 of those polled believe the government should act now to regulate autonomous cars. Turning to 5AA Sport.
From designer to traditional or contemporary, there's a Gliderol garage door to match your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Good morning, Jace Camp.
Good morning to you, Matty. Let's start with some breaking news. And Brad Scott has been sacked as Essendon coach. Scott has been in the top job since 2023. The club has managed only 1 win this season and sits last on the AFL ladder. It comes after Essendon great Matthew Lloyd said the club is in survival mode.
There's a lot of uncontracted players who are also feeling the pressure of, am I going to get a contract next year? So when you start getting into survival mode, it's not a great environment to be in.
Let's go to tennis, and Thanasi Kokkinakis has fought back from 2 sets to 1 down to advance to the second round of the French Open. It comes after Aussie teenager Emerson Jones fell to 4-time champion Iga Swiatek. The 17-year-old says it was the biggest stage of her young career.
I tried my best and, I'm pretty happy with how I played and how professional I tried to be. Obviously, there's a lot of gaps that need to be filled, but I'm really excited to see where this takes me.
Finally, Aussie swimmer James Magnussen has defended the enhanced games despite all but one competitor failing to beat official world marks. And that's the 5AA Sports.
Thank you. Now checking the roads around Adelaide this morning.
Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Morning there at Penfield, a 2-car smash to look out for Heasley Road and Wammer Road. Slow going south road through Edwardstown this morning and starting to build the Porter Expressway at Port Adelaide. To look out for those other works too at Parahoos West, they do get slow throughout the morning. Bridge Road near Somerset Road with the camera, Bolivar Road, Burton. Time for better coffee at work? Shop Nespresso. Professionals end of financial year sale at nespresso.com/pro. Ends 30th June. AEST T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast now, and a shower or two for today and tomorrow, both 19. Partly cloudy on Thursday, 18. Showers increasing. Friday, 19. Currently it's 10 degrees. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Every bathroom comes with a dark side. Mould. It sneaks into grout. But what if it had nothing to sneak into? What if you chose Mr. Wet Wool instead of tiles for your bathroom and wet areas? It costs less and there's no scrubbing grout. Because with Mr. Wet Wool, there is no grout. Just a smooth, stylish surface, easy to clean and stunning to look at. So why wouldn't you, Mr. Wet Wool? MrWetWool.com.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months, At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Great things begin with the right space. A space to work, a space to store, a space to create. Right now, build the space you've always wanted with Olympic Industries sheds, garages and outdoor storage designed for Australian lifestyles. Visit one of Olympic Industries' inspiration centres today and bring your space to life. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
A year of roadside assistance is now included with eligible NRMA car insurance policies in South Australia, whether you're a new customer or an existing customer renewing your policy, because that's what a help company would do. Renew your eligible policy or get a quote today at nrma.com.au/SA roadside. SA risk addresses only. Excludes CTP and classic car insurance. Offer may be withdrawn at any time. Always read the PDS. PDS and T&Ds available from NRMA Insurance. 12 months of everyday care, roadside assistance provided by National Roads and Motorists Association Limited. Trading as NRMA. Separate and independent from NRMA Insurance.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because conferences and events sound different with Discovery Events. With modern facilities, standout catering and accommodation in 2 premier locations in South Australia, Adelaide Hills and Victor Harbour. Sound great? Visit discoveryevents.com.au, your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
There are many reasons why Steinborner Automotive is well worth a trip, with over 400 cars in stock across 10 yards in Gawler, Barossa and Clare, including Steinborner Hyundai in Uriutpa, with a great selection of the best value new demo and low kilometre Tucson, Santa Fe, i30 and Kona, along with outstanding service from our award-winning staff. You know it's well worth a trip to Steinborner Hyundai. View our whole range of Hyundai at steinborner.com.au.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia, with a new fleet and plenty of hybrid options too. Experience the exceptional service that earned us Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year. Book direct and save now at redspot.com.au today, or call 1300 66 8810.
Red Spot.
Knockdown, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
90 minutes to 8. Yesterday, we determined that there were how many M&Ms in a family
190?
packet? There were 190. And in the process, we gave away tickets to M. Rosciano at the Cabaret Festival. We're going to have another count for the Cabaret in just a moment.
Involving lollies again?
Well, I don't know what it's going to be. We'll find out very shortly. But
chickpeas?
If you want to contest, call in right now. 8223 0000 is the number. You'll have to count something. You won't actually have to count. You just have to guess how many of something there is. Exactly right. You could be like the count. And in the process, you might win tickets to see Alfie Boe, as well as winning a night's accommodation at the Intercontinental Adelaide. How good would that be? 2026 Adelaide Cabaret Festival, 4th to the 21st of June at the Adelaide Festival Centre. Book your tickets now, Cabaret Festival, AdelaideCabaretFestival.com.au. But get calling now. If you want to contest, you need to be on the line when we do the count for the Cabaret on 8223 0000. In the meantime, let's head to Canberra. Phil Curry, the political editor of the Australian Financial Review, joins us. Maybe we could count how many changes there are going to be to the government's capital gains tax changes, Phil, because it feels like there's a series of revisions incoming.
Look, it's very weird. They're going to pass the legislation, then they're going to negotiate changes, bring in more legislation and enact the changes. So it's all got really overtly political. I don't think there's going to be many. I wouldn't get too excited. They're not sort of leaning into this idea of broad exemptions for small business. So this is the application of capital gains tax to a business. So you sell the business and how much CGT you pay when you sell. This is the most controversial aspect of the budget because so many people suddenly realise their business may not be worth as much as they thought it was because they've changed the tax on them. So, but the sort of main concern is from these startups and stuff. So if you start from zero, the business is worth nothing, you start up from nothing, then there's actually no starting point to base your capital gains tax deduction on. So what it means in effect is you're entitled to no exemption when you sell the business. So it's just one of these huge oversights when they rush this stuff. So they announced yesterday they're going to put the legislation in next week, and it's going to have everything tied together. So it's sort of overtly political tactic that if the coalition votes against the bill, they'll also be voting for the tax cuts that come with the budget. So it's one of these sort of gotcha pieces of legislation. And then they're negotiating with the small business sector and the tech council, all these sort of people to see what they can carve out. So we'll wait and see.
So that tactic, though, Phil, what do they call it? The omnibus bill, where you put it all together. Legislation, yeah.
Yeah, you put a deliberate wedge in the bill. So,
but isn't that based on a flawed assumption on Labor's part that the people of Australia are licking their lips at the sheer excitement of getting their quota payment?
If you give them their $4.81 a week in 2 years' time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is how look. It's just how the government rolls. It's always the politics first and everything else second. And the budget still hasn't gone well. We're 2 weeks today since they handed it down, and it's still getting a fairly hard time out there. And so, I think one of the big errors they made, and it was not what I think. It's what everyone from like Ken Henry to Martin Parkinson. These are former secretaries of the Treasury who worked for Labor governments. They did all the tax changes under Paul Keating and they were involved in the GST. And the thing they're saying is, the government's made a lot of losers in this budget and there's no winners. And if you want to do something, and call it reform, you've got to have winners and losers so the winners offset the losers, right? If you remember when John Howard did the GST, that was very tough. That was much bigger than this stuff. But we all got massive income tax cuts, and if you're on welfare pensions, you got a big increase. So it's a way of sort of, you always got to have winners with your losers if you're going to do reform. And in this case, it was all losers, so they haven't, and they lost the narrative on housing. It was meant to be about housing, but they extended these capital gains taxes to everyone else, people who buy shares or have small businesses. So we're no longer talking about housing. We're talking about what was that for, all this collateral damage. And so they're sort of trying to talk up these tax cuts as if they're really big. But as I said, it's $250 a week in 2 years. But they're going to tie that to the legislation that passed the tax increases and try and make the opposition look cruel and heartless by opposing them.
Hey, Phil, what happened with the potential Teals party this week? It seemed like it was floated and then pretty much everyone who would be a Teal decided that they weren't interested.
Well, it's still a work in progress, Will. And like two of the Teals flat out, Monique Ryan and Kate Chaney from WA said not interested. It sort of undercuts the whole idea of having an independent in your seat. So it's got, there's two, Zali Stegel and Sophie Scomps. They're from the North Shore of Sydney. They're up for it. They're involved in it. Allegra Spender's sort of sitting on the fence, and another one, Nicola Buller. These are all Sydney Teals, sort of interested maybe after the next election. What they're sort of realising, Will, is that actually the Teal model hasn't worked because they have no influence. They're sitting in the lower house and no one cares about them because their vote doesn't matter. And they've suitably degraded the Liberal Party to the point where the Liberal Party doesn't have any influence either. So you've got this government rushing stuff. We're just talking about the budget. I mean, that budget just smacks Teal voters square in the face. We're talking about people who have trusts, who have businesses, who have more wealth than most people. It's aimed at them. Labor's just coming after their constituents, and they can't do anything about it. And neither can the Liberal Party because the whole right of politics has fallen apart. So there's been this discussion for a while. Malcolm Turnbull's been running this thing, and there's been, I think, Simon Birmingham in South Australia and Christopher Pyne and others about some sort of liberal moderate breakaway party to try and I don't know.
Based on the roaring success of Steelhall's Liberal movement.
That's exactly the one, Dave. Yeah, and some of the Teals have been, like Allegra Spender's been talking to them about that, but it hasn't really gone anywhere. And this thing sort of popped up amidst all that. But, I don't think it's going to happen. But their whole plan is to try and get senators. So they finally worked out they're in the wrong house. If you want to have a grassroots movement to have some influence over politics, you're better off being in the Senate. There's the Greens show and, One Nation and parties like that. That's where the sort of power is. If you can't take over the lower house, you're better off having senators, and because they it's really hard to get senators if you don't have a presence in across the state. You got to have a party basically to get above the line on the Senate ticket. So it's all very messy and comical, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
What a crazy time to be there, mate. Have you ever seen politics so sort of splintered and balkanised in your 30-plus years there?
No. We're effectively becoming, like the Commonwealth's effectively becoming like Victoria, West Australia, South Australia, as a one-party state, a Labor state, and the centre right vote or the right vote is just fragmented across the place. We had this poll on the weekend, which sort of scared the pigeons. That was put the cat amongst the pigeons, where it forecast if an election was held now, One Nation would win somewhere between 43 and 56 seats, and the Liberals could be reduced as few as 12 or 21, and Labor would be pushed close to minority. We're really in like uncharted waters now. You can sort of say the two-party system ceased to exist, and it's trying to find a new bottom, and no one's sure. That's what's sort of sparking all these things like, these teal parties and stuff like that. Everyone doesn't know what to do, to be honest.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing. Good on you, Phil. I had about 3 more questions for you, but otherwise we'll end up talking all time. We'll save them for next week. Go on, you mate. Phil Curry, the National Political Editor for the Fin Review.
All right, it's coming up to 10 minutes to 8. It's time to give away tickets to the Cabaret Festival with the little game we like to call Count for the Cabaret. This morning, we need you to tell us, Dylan, Annie, Quinton, Trevor and Sam, how many Tic Tacs there are in a 24-gram pack of peppermint-flavoured Tic Tacs. Nearest to the pin wins the tickets and the night stay at the Intercontinental. Dylan in Glenalta, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, Dylan. How many?
40.
40, thank you, Dylan. Anne, how many?
33.
Thank you, Anne. Quinton, how many?
56.
Trevor, how many?
60.
And the last spot, which won it yesterday, Sam in Theberton.
I didn't win yesterday.
No, the last spot won it yesterday, Sam.
I'll say 55.
55. The winner of the Count for the Cabaret. The total was 50, so the closest was... Emily's crunching the numbers out there at the moment. Sam in Theberton has won it. It's the last... You really want to be the last guesser. Yeah, because you can make a really educated crack based on where things have fallen before that point. Sam, congratulations to you. You are off to see FIVEAA at the Cabaret Festival, and you get a night stay at the Intercontinental Adelaide. How good is that? What a prize. Beautiful. 2026 Adelaide Cabaret Festival, 4th to the 21st of June at the Adelaide Festival Centre. Book your tickets now, adelaidecabaretfestival.com.au.
Morning there. A couple of breakdowns to look out for this morning. One at Dulwich, Greenhill Road at Fullerton Road. Another breakdown at Edwardstown. This one's a truck, South Road in the shopping centre. That'll be very slow for the driving this morning. I've got concrete getting poured at the moment at Valley View. That might slow you down if you're on Grand Junction Road near Sutholts Road. Getting busy, Brighton Road, Brighton with a camera, Grand Junction Road, Regency Park. Let the CommSec share market experts give you an investing edge on the daily CommSec Market Update podcast. This podcast is created and distributed by CommSec. Content is general in nature. Investing carries risk. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Is the endless loop of sleepless nights and unproductive days making you feel moody? Introducing Caruso's Saffron Plus L-Theanine. Caruso's Saffron Plus L-Theanine relieves stress, supports mental focus and clarity, improves sleep quality, and helps you to maintain a healthy emotional balance. So if you're ready for restful nights and productive days, try Caruso's Saffron Plus L-Theanine today. Comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores.
Hi, Daniel Talia here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. Put simply, we buy homes. If you've received a letter from us in your mailbox, don't throw it away. You may be throwing away a golden opportunity to sell your home at market value. With zero effort, advertising fees or commissions, you'll save thousands of dollars. If you've received a letter from us, it means we're serious about buying your home. For more info, visit home.com.au. That's haume.com.au.
Some swear jars collect coins, but at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, their swear jar collects promises.
Hi, I'm Amy. I hope you can hear me smiling because that's how I answer the phone. I'm your first contact at Buy Urban and I swear to help you any way I can.
I'm Laura. I swear to help bring your thoughts and design ideas to life, just how you envisioned them, or better.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
At The Advertiser, we help you get ahead of the issues affecting your family, from cost of living and health to schools and local news. We're for Adelaide, we're for South Australia, and we're for you.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCan, new from Automasters.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Yeah, it's jury time. We're going to put the enhanced games to the jury test this morning. The enhanced games, this is the trimmed down version of the Olympics where steroids aren't just legal, they're encouraged. 12 events. There was $1 million on the line for anyone who could break a world record. I think there's been one or maybe two broken. But the biggest, perhaps the funniest part of the whole thing has been, as we spoke with Rob Scott earlier, to this morning, there'd been 5 clean athletes that appeared in the enhanced games, and 3 of them finished first in their event. Now, they're only doing a dozen or so events. Fred Curley, who won the 100, he was hoping to be so juiced up, he was going to break Usain Bolt's record and be the fastest man ever to run 100 metres. He ran it in 9.97 seconds, which is the same, which is slightly slower than the world record was in 1968 with the...
I reckon they're using the wrong drugs in the wrong events. Like, they should have, like, cannabis and then have gyros eating. Or Tim Tams or something like that. 100 metres Tim Tams.
Joey Chestnut might get beaten in the hot dog eating competition for once.
Joey Chestnut. I can't watch those things.
It's grotesque.
And the way they dip the hot dog into, like, island dew and stuff.
So for the jury this morning, we're asking you simply this: the enhanced games, fascinating or freak show? Fascinating or freak show? 82230000. A lot of people are reading there's all sorts of conspiracy theories that are going into this now as well. Some people are saying, well, if the enhanced athletes aren't any better than the clean athletes, does it mean there are no clean athletes? Does it mean steroids don't work anywhere near as advertised? This feels like a real blow to the steroid industry, frankly.
Yeah.
That none of these people are able to do any better than just naturally selected, really high-quality athletes that are training with stuff that's totally legal. Freak show or fascinating? 82230000 for the jury. Of course, someone on the jury will win a $100 Samtas seafood voucher. Get into Samtas. Quality seafood, best prices. Samtas Seafood's open 7 days. Factory direct, Richmond Road at Richmond.
I tell you what, if you do want to do your body a favour, forget buying a bucket of human growth hormone. Go into Samtas instead.
Yes.
Get on the oily fish.
Get on the
mackerel, the tuna.
It's good for you.
The salmon, the ocean trout.
And you're legal if you do decide to try and break a world record.
Tastes good as well.
Jury number 1, fascinating or a freak show?
Oh, look, I think it's absolutely fascinating, but I'd also like to see them do it like, for example, someone who's got a shocking cold and they've got tablets or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Sit back and say, oh, look, you know, he did the 100, but God, his bloody head must have been sore.
That's not too bad. Jury number 2, good morning. Freak show or fascinating?
It's definitely a freak show. They're just doing so much to the damage to their bodies.
Yeah, thank you, jury number 2. Jury number 3, good morning.
Yes, good morning, guys. Look, this is just a typical American crap that we get served up every day. I reckon it's just a freak show and typical of America. I can't wait to see what they come up with next.
Yeah, except the biggest problem with that is I think the biggest name that signed up to it was an Australian, James Magnussen.
Yeah.
The missile sank. Jury number 4, good morning.
Yeah, g'day, guys. How you going? I'd say it's a freak show. They should all do it at Maslin's, quite frankly.
The Nude Olympics.
Yeah, the games. Look, it'd be a fantastic spectacle. In fact, I was there at the recent Nude Olympics. It brings a whole new meaning to the term "on your mark," and you'd be very proud of me. Because I was in the egg and spoon race and I came within a half an inch of being the best man.
Well, that was excellent. Jury number 4 had her whole routine worked out. It was terrific. Jury number 5, good morning.
Well, clearly, I'm not getting the SAM test, gotcha. I reckon it's fascinating, boys. Anyway, well done.
No, good on you, jury number 5. Thank you. And just lastly, jury number 6, good morning.
Morning, guys. I reckon it's a freak show, but I'd actually like to see them when they're injecting just before. Go through the whole gambit, see it all, and then let them do what they do.
Excellent work.
Thank you, jury number 6. We just give it to was it jury number 4?
It was jury number 4.
Does he get the Samtez seafood? Do you reckon he'd been waiting his whole life for a Nude Olympic-style jury to try and... Egg and spoon race.
What a superb routine to come up with on the fly.
That was magnificent.
That was like Steve Martin's early comedy. Like just totally absurd. Brilliant.
Well, jury number 4, you've got the, you might not have won the egg and spoon race, but you've won the Samtez seafood voucher. $100 worth for best quality seafood and best prices. Samtez Seafoods, open 7 days, factory direct, Richmond Road, Richmond.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two, 19 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
The Stewart Highway's closed between Glendambo and Coober Pedy following a 2-vehicle crash overnight, one of them a road train. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says people travelling south have been stopped at Coober Pedy, while those heading north have to stop at Glendambo.
This was just after 12:30 this morning. Emergency services have been called to the Stewart Highway, about 100 kilometres north of Glendambo, after reports of that collision between a road train and a vehicle. Now, the Stewart Highway is currently closed in both directions and is expected to be closed for some time.
The energy regulator says electricity prices should fall for most households and small businesses from the 1st of July. The final default price offer has been released for the next year. While there are price drops across the eastern seaboard for businesses and households, and businesses here in South Australia, households on a flat rate tariff will cop a small $33 rise. Energy Minister Tom Koutsantonis says we need more gas in the system.
I think we do. I think the price of gas is far too high in this country. We rely too much on scarce gas. We have abundant gas, but as you know, people are locking it up in the ground and we need to unlock it. And South Australia is home to the second largest onshore reserves of gas in Australia, yet South Australia is the only state to have to suffer a small, slight increase when it could have been a decrease if we had more gas.
The Lord Mayor, Jane Lomax-Smith, is running for the Adelaide City Council's top job again. All South Australian councils hold elections in November. A government minister is dismissing suggestions more concessions on the capital gains tax changes are a sign they got the proposals wrong. The Prime Minister has left the door open for more concessions outside the exemptions for the tech industry. Aged Care Minister Sam Ray telling Nines Today they've always promised to listen to feedback.
We made clear that we would consult across the Australian economy and the Australian community. That's the right thing to do. These are very ambitious reforms. We're trying to get the balance right between the tax arrangements for workers and the tax arrangements for investors.
Police are investigating a break-in at a church in Marden over the weekend. The Paynham Road building was broken into between lunchtime Friday and 9:30 yesterday morning. Significant damage caused to the building, including to a heritage-listed organ, with organ pipes and balustrade stolen from the inside. Early trials of a new gene therapy suggest a single dose could reduce what's known as bad cholesterol by 62%. For life. BBC reporter Sophie Hutchinson says doctors behind the trials from Britain, the US and New Zealand say it could mean patients need fewer cholesterol-reducing drugs like statins.
This tiny trial has created genuine excitement. 35 people took part who had a mix of inherited high bad cholesterol and heart attacks at a young age. They were given a gene-editing medicine while continuing with their regular cholesterol-lowering drugs. The new medicine switches off a protein in the liver called PCSK9, thereby allowing more bad cholesterol to be cleared from the blood. The results published in the New England Journal of Medicine show at the highest dose bad cholesterol reduced by up to 62% and remained low a year on.
Iran says some progress has been reached in talks to end the war with the US, but a deal with the United States is not imminent. A spokesperson in Tehran says the parties are in agreement on a large portion of issues. And James Cook University researchers are calling for greater public awareness and education this food allergy week. It follows a surge in anaphylaxis cases, with presentations to Australian EDs jumping by 50% in the last 5 years. Professor Andreas Lapata says there are several ways to help someone experiencing an allergic reaction.
Call an ambulance immediately, not waiting too long, and wait until it maybe gets better or not. Usually it gets worse. Even after EpiPen, they have to go into the hospital under surveillance. Lie down, put your legs up, and ideally see even a GP if you don't have an EpiPen available.
Turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol garage doors are proudly and brilliantly made right in South Australia. Gliderol.com.au.
And Jace Kemp, some big football news breaking an hour ago.
Yeah, massive news out of Essendon. Brad Scott has been sacked as the coach. Eddie Summerfield reports.
With just one win from the past 24 games, Essendon's board decided on the weekend Brad Scott's time at the club was over. Friday's loss to Richmond was the last straw. Scott still had 18 months to run on his contract after being appointed as coach in 2023. The Bombers becoming the second club in as many weeks to move on their coach after Michael Voss's departure from Carlton.
To tennis, Thanasi Kokkinakis has advanced to the second round of the French Open. The Aussie fought back from 2-1 down. Kokkinakis has battled injuries recently and says he'll keep going for it as long as he can.
At least 1 year before I'm done, I want to try and play a full schedule and see what happens if my body will allow me. But for me, it's the little wins and the small victories and stuff like today where that's the reason I kept trying to come back from these injuries, to have moments like that on court, because I know when I'm retired and nothing will really compare to that.
Alex de Minaur and Daria Castakina also advanced to the second round. And finally, Socceroos star Riley McGree will miss the upcoming World Cup after picking up an injury playing for Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff final. And that's the 5AA Sports.
Thank you, Jason. Now here's how your drive to work and school's going this morning.
Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Morning there. Got a smash to look out for Ranella today. It's on the Southern Expressway near the Mall Road overpass. Really big delays through there. More delays with a broken down truck this morning at Edwardstown, South Road, just in front of the shopping centre. Pretty slow at the moment. And Penfield is smash on Heaslip Road near Walmer Road to look out for. Cameras, Cameron Road, Dry Creek and Bolivar Road at Bursum. Yes, Adelaide Central Market is open Tuesdays till Saturdays, and so the only place to find the best of SA, great specials and familiar faces at over 70 stalls. Adelaide Central Market. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
A shower or two for Adelaide today and for tomorrow. Both days 19, partly cloudy on Thursday 18 and showers increasing Friday 19. Currently 10 degrees. 5AA, always Adelaide.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now, with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job. CompleteWindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala. water.
Your old hot water system can drive as much as 40% of your energy bill. Fortunately, you can upgrade to something that's 70% cheaper to run thanks to Right Price. They're the leaders in heat pumps and installation. Now's the time to upgrade and save money on a more efficient hot water system and take advantage of government incentives and free installation. Reduce your energy costs today with a heat pump from Right Price. Make the switch with Right Price Hot Water.
At Right Price, heating and cooling, you can get the price right at Right Price.
Planning your next event? Choose a venue where everything comes together. Adelaide Convention Centre. It's where your vision and our expertise come together, where creative cuisine meets extraordinary productions and excitement and innovation combine in a space that is truly world-class. From corporate gatherings to grand celebrations, we make every occasion unforgettable. Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre and start planning your next event today.
Fatty plaque. Sounds nasty, doesn't it? And it is. Fatty plaque is made of cholesterol particles that can accumulate in your arteries and even stop blood flow, contributing to heart attacks, heart failure, stroke and dementia, Australia's biggest killers. Treatments are being developed at SAMRI and they're all game changers. But SAMRI needs donations to help with clinical testing. Visit samri.org.au and help us give plaque the flick. That's samri.org.au.
Finding your next Volkswagen? That part's easy. And right now, you don't have to wait. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's end of financial year Unlocked event is on right now. So you can jump in early and get first pick from a huge range of new and demo Volkswagens ready for delivery. Plenty of colours, plenty of options. On-site finance, next day servicing. No waiting, no missing out. End of financial year Unlocked event ends June 30. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Knockdown, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. We have the World Cup of South Australia, Day 7 to round out this half hour. Make sure you're in a position to call in. In fact, you can be waiting on the line to cast your vote to make sure your favourite makes it through to this round. What's the category today, Paddy? What are we into?
Do we know?
There's food, places, things, people. Today is people. So last week it was Grant Stevens up against Francis Adamson.
That was a ding-dong tussle.
It's heavyweights today. Big time. We don't know.
Well, heavyweights last week.
We never know until Paddy brings in the envelopes, and then we have to on the spot make an argument on in whoever we get.
Was Travis Head's moustache personal thing?
Thing. It's in the thing category.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll find out for World Cup of Suburbs before 8:30, and then after 8:30 today. Make sure you stick around for our chat with the CEO of MND Australia, Claire Sullivan, about the legacy of Neil Danaher. A remarkable story, his life, but the last 13 years when he dedicated it to raising awareness for this awful disease. He's done so much good for the world. He's done so much good for the science around trying to prevent it and eventually one day curing it. Claire Sullivan, the CEO of MND Australia, after 8:30.
Well, one of South Australia's 10 federal MPs has done his community a service by crunching the exact number of how many older Australians in his electorate are going to be affected by the federal budget's changes to the private health insurance rebate that are going to cost people over the age of 65 $807 a year. Needless to say, he's not a federal Labor MP. Because none of them have got any interest in shining any further light on a decision that has given many older voters the you-know-what. Tom Venning is the Liberal member for Grey, and we've got him on the line now. So, Tom, thanks for your time. 23,673 residents in your seat are going to be hit by this cut.
Yeah, that's exactly right, gentlemen. This is bad news for the grandkids. They will not be getting a Christmas present this year, thanks to Dr. Jim Chalmers. This government is slashing the private health insurance rebate for 65-year-olds and over. So for the people in my electorate, you know, it's a cut to the rebate from 28 to 32% down to 24%. So if you're on a silver or a gold program with your private health, that's an extra $807 a year, or double that for couples. Now, the real concern about this is going to push more and more older Australians into the public health system. In my electorate alone, half of the admissions into hospital are people aged over 65 years old. So we don't know how many people will drop off the program, but it'll be significant. It'll put more and more and more pressure on our already crumbling public health system.
I wanted to ask you, Tom. So roughly, do you know in ballpark terms how many voters there are, or how many residents rather there are in your seat of Grey, which is up north?
Just under 200,000, about 130,000 people on the electoral roll.
Okay, so 23,000 out of 200,000 is a sizable percentage. And that's probably something that if you lived in any other federal electorate, do you think the numbers would be roughly the same, or does your seat skew a little bit older?
Mine's a little bit older, but it would be similar.
Yeah. And just in terms of being a regional rural seat like yours, I mean, you got towns that are miles away from the nearest health services. Does this create a different dynamic for country people in terms of access to private health care? And if they're now going, all right, stuff this for a joke, I'm going to rely on the public system, does that make a system that's already so thinned out and spread out even more exposed to pressure?
It absolutely does. You know, I'm not sure if you've been to a regional hospital lately, but they are all struggling. And indeed, if you live within a 4 hours drive of Adelaide, if you have an injury, the best thing to do is jump in the car and drive to Adelaide. But that doesn't work if you live in Coober Pedy or Ceduna or Port Lincoln. You, of course, have to go to the local hospital. They are seriously struggling. This is going to put more and more pressure on our regional EDs.
And just in terms of the actual changes, I must admit I'm not across this, and I reckon a lot of our listeners probably aren't either. Is it a done deal that this happens, or does it need to get, do the private health changes need to be enshrined in law and therefore pass the Senate?
Yeah, so the Prime Minister will try and ram through this legislation both this week and next week. Of course, we'll be fighting to stop it. But once that is passed, it will become legislation.
And you guys are launching a petition as well about this, hands off your health cover.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think this is a direct attack on individuals that tend to not vote for the Labor government. So it is that egregious. So, yes, I'm starting a petition. I want as many signatures as possible to take the fight up to Labor to stop this attack on the hip pockets of senior families across South Australia. So please get involved.
Tom Venning, the Liberal member for Grey, thank you for that.
Thanks.
So I reckon it's worth doing that because this is the political reality, and, you know, it's the way people voted, so the Libs can sort of suck it up to a degree. But the reality is one of the most contentious, easily the most contentious parts of the federal budget, the reality now in South Australia is that we've got 10 seats, right? We've got 10 seats. 2 of them are held by Libs. You've got Tony Passon down south, Tom Venning up north. Then you've got Rebecca Sharkey. Then you've got 7 largely suburban federal electorates, all held by Labor. Of those 7 Labor MPs, which of them is going to tell you this is how many voters in my seat are going to be affected by the private health insurance changes?
0.
Correct. So good on him for doing it.
Yeah.
23,670 out of 200,000 people.
And so many of our listeners, as we know. 16 minutes after 8, we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of it, in Prospect, there's an initiative that's being undertaken by the council there that's getting people to know a little bit more about their local trees, and it's going off. People are absolutely loving it. So we'll be talking about that on the other side of this break.
At Brunella, a 5-car crash, Southern Expressway near the Mall Road overpass. Really big delays inbound through there. More delays just down the road at Edwardstown, South Road near the shopping centre with a broken down truck just in front of Castle Plaza. And at Penfield, you'll find a smash causing headaches, Heaslip Road near Wammer Road. Canberra this morning, Cavan Road, Dry Creek. At Spotlight, save a massive 20 to 50% off store-wide. Sale on now, excludes clearance. Discount applies to full-price products. See the Spotlight website for details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Sad passing of Neil Danaher, and you think about what he's done in life. Got that cruel diagnosis of MND in 2013. And he doesn't think about himself. He goes and starts Fight MD, the big freeze.
Adelaide's only local sports show.
Fundraising against the beast, as he calls it.
The mark of a person isn't what they say, it's what they do.
The 5AA Sports Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Don't just get a forklift. Get a Toyota forklift. Right now, there's never been a better time to buy a new forklift from Toyota Material Handling. Score great end of financial year deals across a selected range of new Toyota electric pallet jacks and counterbalance forklifts currently in stock, stacked with legendary reliability and productivity and ready to deliver outstanding end of financial year value. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Terms and conditions apply. Offer ends June 30.
50 scorching summers. 50 freezing winters. And only one Morford Air helped us through it all. Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company, Morford Air, has kept South Australians cool and warm for over 50 years. That's half a century of comfort. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford Air. Tiles and grout, they're an open invitation for mould. You can scrub and seal it, but it'll be back. Installing Mr. Wet Wall is a smarter option, and you can lay it over existing tiles. Mr. Wet Wall beats the look and maintenance of tiles hands down. No grout, no mould, and completely waterproof. Mr. Wet Wall takes half the time to install. It means your costs are kept down. So why wouldn't you, Mr. Wet Wall? Take a look at MrWetWall.com.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
You can rely on Red Spot to keep Aussie airport rentals fair. We're the only car rental company who have kept our prices low during the fuel crisis. And we're the only Aussie-owned and operated choice in major airport terminals all over the country. Experience the local service that saw us named Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year. For a deal you can rely on, book your next rental direct at redspot.com.au today or call 1300 66 8810.
Red Spot.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Knockdown, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 8, got brought to our attention this terrific little initiative in Prospect being undertaken by the City of Prospect, the council there, where they're hanging these signs on trees and giving you a bit more information about them. For example, in one that we've been sent, it says, "I am a sugar gum." It has the botanic name, which I won't try to attempt. You speak a bit of Latin, David, so you'd be more chance. Eucalyptus
Cladocalix.
In tree years, it's got options. I'm a child, teen, adult, or senior, and this particular tree is an adult. I provide shade equivalent to 63.22 beach umbrellas and store enough carbon to fill, well, that's almost 500,000 AFL footballs. But a nice little way to get people to know about the contribution that's being made by trees in their area. The Mayor of the City of Prospect is Matt Larwood. Mayor, good morning to you.
G'day, gents. How you going?
We're good, thank you, Matt. So how long's this been going and where did the idea come from?
I wish I knew the answer to the second question because I'd like to claim that it's our idea, so I will.
Well, until someone says otherwise, Matt, you're safe.
Correct, yes. And it's been going for well over a year now, and I first noticed it just by wandering around walking my dogs in the various areas, and it really does stand out because it's an unusual thing and it draws your attention to that tree, and you start to wonder, okay, what's this sign all about? What's this series of signs all about? And that's what it was designed for. It was designed to create a little bit of intrigue and use environmental science, turn that into something that was a little bit more relatable. So as you mentioned before, we talk about shade capacity in terms of beach umbrellas. We talk about stored carbon in terms of how many AFL footballs it could fill. So it's really meant to be relatable, and it's really meant to draw people through a 2-kilometre route from the Town Hall Beandy on Prospect Road up to the Memorial Gardens and then down to St Helens Park, where there's a whole lot of different sorts of trees. And I've lived in Prospect for about almost 50 years, and I remember those trees when I was a kid climbing them and so on and so forth. So it's great to see that we're bringing a little bit more information to light to help reinforce the importance of trees.
trees have become a hot-button issue in Adelaide over the last few months, Matt. Has it got a bit of a sort of Gramscian political undercurrent, this one? Are you doing it with one eye on the Premier and his chainsaw?
Not at all, no. We, like most people, to me, what you just mentioned there highlights the importance of trees. We've had a green tunnel project going in the city of Prospect for about the last 5 or 6 years with the aim of turning as much of the streets into green tunnels, which cools the suburb down, which makes them look a lot nicer. We've got about 16.5% tree canopy cover, and we've got over 15,000 trees in our area, so we pay a lot of attention to trees. In fact, an initiative that we've implemented is the Tree Bait initiative, which means that if you're a private resident and you purchase a decent tree, we'll give you 50% of the cash back to try to encourage people to plant significant trees on their own property.
That's a really good thing to do because there's not enough of them around. Good on you, Matt. Matt Larwood, Mayor of the City of Prospect.
5AA's World Cup of SA.
World Cup of South Australia time. 8223 is the number in the people part of the bracket. You can follow along on social media and see how the competition is progressing. It's starting to fill up the second round. We're probably halfway through the first round now, I would think, just having a look at that. So things are starting to get serious. People are getting the model now. It's just 3 calls. First the 3
Nothing
calls.
about this is serious, Will.
David, it's deadly serious. There is nothing more serious than the World Cup of South Australia. Trust me, people are very upset with some of the arguments we've made already. Some feel it's too bombastic. Some feel it wasn't over the top enough.
I had a few frog cake lovers telling me I dogged it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Hate those things.
You did. All right, well, you won't today because we're in the people part of the bracket, and this is a big one. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first today.
All right.
Oh, my man, Scotty Hodges. I've got Port Adelaide legend Scott Hodges.
Well, let's just set the scene here. Because I have Crows legend Tony Modra.
You know the great irony, and this is one of the great misunderstood falsehoods of South Australian sport. Mods and Scott are thick as thieves. They get on like a house on fire. And there's this weird view that, Mods sort of pushed Scott out of the side. It's not true. Like and whatever lingering dramas there are about Cornsey taking Scott off in that Essendon game and so forth, there's no tension at all between them. They're drinking buddies, and they love each other. So, what can you say about Scott Hodges? So, even though it pains me that Rick Davies was on the receiving end of this as a sturt man, Scott knocked him off for the SANFL goal-kicking record. Trying to do all this off the top of my head. I think it was 156 goals, maybe. Habitually kicking 10, 11, 12 goals a game. And I got to know Scott because our boys were in the same class at Grange Primary School. And then hilariously, I ended up coaching the school football team that had at one point Scott's son in it and Russell Ebert's grandson in it. And on game days, I'd say, what are you two blokes standing there not coaching this team for? But one of the nicest phone calls I ever got after the 2017 debacle at the MCG, Scott rang and he goes, mate, just checking in to see how you're going. Nothing hurts like losing a grand final. And I went, oh, thanks, Scott. And I said, actually, how would you know? And he goes, yeah, that's right, actually. I played 8 and I won 8. 8 flags. And he's part of that whole Rizza, Wayne Marnie, Timmy G era where just a cut above everyone else. And a great culture as well, that club. So, Scott has my vote.
Scott Hodges or Tony Modra for the World Cup of Suburbs. I still, to this day, argue Tony Modra is as famous as a footballer has ever been in the history of South Australia.
True.
I think no one has reached the pinnacle of fame that Tony Modra did. No, very few have reached the level of flash. The man won a Coleman medal, kicked 129 goals in 1993. 129. Essendon won't kick 129 goals this year. It was a highlight waiting to happen. Tony Modra gave me... I learned about angles because of Tony Modra, because for my entire school life, if you turned your back flat to another bloke, someone would yell out, Modra! And you'd have a knee in the back of your head. Tony Modra is an absolute icon. Who could forget, too, the tragedy of Mods doing his knee in the prelim final, 97. Crows win 2 premierships. He, as one of the absolute greats in the history of the club and the league, wasn't there for them. He won the Coleman in 97 despite that. What an absolute superstar. This is impossible to split. Let's just see what our listeners come up with. Who will make it through in the World Cup of South Australia? Tony Modra or Scott Hodges? John in Campbelltown, you got the first vote.
That's way too easy, boys. It's got to be Godra, please.
Godra, one vote. People are going to kick themselves if having not called in early on this one. Francis in Beaumont, good morning.
Good morning. There's only one Godra.
Thank you, Francis. Russell in Lockleys, good morning.
It's got to be Tony Modra. Come on, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Not fair.
Oh, well, Tony Modra's won it and he'll go through to the next round. That's a tough out for Scotty Hodges. My brother...
Not fair.
My brother had a teddy bear called Scott Hodges. He was beloved in our household.
Your brother's a Crows man. Was that when Scott was playing for the Crows?
He was playing for the Crows,
yeah,
but because of his feats playing for in the Sandful, like he was a legend. They've seen goal tallies that he'd kicked when we were kids. It was like Scott Hodges is just awesome.
There's a goal
despite the fact that he was a port guy.
I think it was a prelim against Norwood. He kicks this goal in this blowing gale down at West Lakes from the boundary to knock Norwood off right on the siren, and the Norwood bench, they're just all bursting into tears. But it's so many things, like the 94 grand final against the Eagles. I guess it sort of shows
they're both great
the tears between AFL and SANFL, because Scott was sort of the tail end of the golden era of the SANFL.
Yeah.
Whereas Mods was there for the explosion of AFL.
And they just crossed over. But what characters? No one...
We'll certainly give them something to talk about
next
next
time
they
They're great footballers in the AFL, but goal kickers are just... There's something iconic about blokes who just kick big bags.
Yeah.
And it's sad that in this era we don't. It's starting to come back a little bit actually with the change in the rules. But the way it was, where you could watch those blokes at their pinnacle, kicking 10, 11, 12 goals and seeming just being irresistible. You felt helpless if the ball went inside forward 50. It was a great era of footy.
Certainly
Two
was.
great characters and both worthy of being in the World Cup of Suburbs. But it will be Tony Modra. Godra. 3 straight votes for Godra, no less, who progresses to the next round.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 19 today with the 8:30 news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Physio Extra offers Locomat and Armio robotic technology services at their Marion and Eastwood clinics. PhysioExtra.com.
A major crash overnight has closed the Stewart Highway in the far north of the state between Glendambo and Coober Pedy. A road train and another vehicle collided about 100 kilometres north of Glendambo at 12:30. Major crash will be examining the scene with the road to be shut for some time. Energy regulators have locked in new prices across the East Coast and for SA despite uncertainty from the war in Iran. From July, the maximum rate electricity companies can charge on standard plans will be, for the most, reduced. Households and businesses in New South Wales, South East Queensland and Victoria will save the most, with the only increase here in SA. A slight rise for households on a flat rate tariff. Energy Minister Chris Bowen claims the government's push into renewables is working.
These are good reductions, but there's a lot more to do. It's not mission accomplished. Australians are still doing it tough, and we need to keep going with the reforms that we have put in place to see more of the cheapest, better form of energy in the grid.
The opposition says there's no need for the federal government to introduce its tax changes into Parliament this week. Legislation to rein in the capital gains tax discount and crack down on negative gearing concessions will be introduced on Thursday. The government will then continue talks with business groups and may remove some industries from the new laws. Nationals leader Matt Canavan says the situation is a mess.
The Prime Minister seems like he wants to negotiate with Australian businesses with a gun held to their head. He wants to put the tax changes into law and then talk to them about where he might take things away.
In New South Wales, the state government legislation being introduced to Parliament there would result in shared e-bikes for hire on streets being fitted with number plates. The proposed changes would form part of a broader effort to crack down on misuse of the devices. The New South Wales government had previously rejected the idea of putting number plates on bikes. The World Health Organisation says the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is growing, increasingly difficult to contain. More than 200 people are believed to have died in the Democratic Republic of Congo and in Uganda. Epidemiologist Dr. Eric Ding says the situation will likely get worse before it improves.
The actual outbreak is enormous and likely to exponentially rise for at least several weeks.
The UK has recorded its hottest May on record, with the thermometer topping 34.8 degrees Celsius in London. It comes as Europe is also sweltering, with average temperatures around 12% higher than average. Food Allergy Week aims to raise awareness and support the estimated 1 in 20 Australians living with a food allergy. Over a 5-year period, anaphylaxis presentations to emergency departments jumped 50%, rising to more than 11,500 cases a year. James Cook Uni professor Andreas Lapata says the list of allergens has grown over the years.
In the mid-1980s, we knew about 50, 60 components being allergens, for our immune system. We have allergic reactions. Now we have over 1,100 different components which we know can cause allergies in people. That's probably one of the reasons we see this increased allergy here in Australia.
Police are investigating an armed robbery at a Port Augusta service station overnight. Police called to the business on the Air Highway just after 4:30 this morning. Following reports, a man with an axe threatened staff. He stole cigarettes and cash from the till before fleeing. A new robot bird drone is flying over strawberry fields in Moreton Bay in New South Wales in an effort to deter nuisance birds from disturbing crops. The trial initiative aims to protect the region's vital strawberry industry, which accounts for more than 60% of production in the region, southeast Queensland, northeast New South Wales. Mayor Peter Flannery says the drone operates like a real bird.
It's a flying robot bird. It actually flaps its wings and moves its tail, and it can self-generate its own lift. It flies around, can hang above strawberry farms out there and keeps away the cockatoos and the galahs that come down and often feed on the strawberries and destroy that crop.
Turning to 5AA Sport.
From designer to traditional or contemporary, there's a Gliderol garage door to match your home. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Jace Camp.
Thank you, Matty. Essendon has parted ways with coach Brad Scott with more than a year left on his contract. The Bombers have only had one win this season and sit last on the AFL ladder. Meanwhile, the mid-season draft will happen tonight. Port Adelaide will try and bolster its list. Assistant Luke Webster says to look to replace Ollie Lord and Ivan Soldo.
With the two guys that we've lost, the two talls, potentially looking at one of those guys that could potentially step in and help us right here, right now.
To tennis, and 3 Aussies will take the court on day 3 at the French Open. Craig Gabriel is there.
Adam Wharton and Alexei Popyrin are first up with their matches. Wharton received the Tennis Australia reciprocal wildcard and he plays Daniil Medvedev. It's their third meeting and Wharton has beaten Medi. The head-to-head is 1-1. Popyrin takes on American Zachary Zvider. It was 2017 that Popyrin won the French Open Juniors and he was saying the trophy has gone missing. Kim Birrell plays later in the day against 5th seed Jessica Pegula. This is their second meeting. Pegula won on hard court last August.
And finally, Aussie great Meg Lanning has revealed she'll step away from state cricket, instead deciding to pursue T20 franchise opportunities around the world. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Jace. Checking the roads around Adelaide this morning.
Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton
Morning
Park.
there, really big delay still with the 5-car smash of Brunello, the Southern Expressway to the Moore Road overpass. Edwardstown, big delays there too with a broken down truck. South Road just in front of Castle Plaza Shopping Centre. Very slow at the moment at Anzac Highway heading into the city through South Road, and getting quite busy with a breakdown at the moment at Dulwich, the intersection of Green Hill Road and Fullerton Road. Camera, Kesters Road, Para Hills West. Bob J. Timarts won't be beaten with their best high price guarantee. When you're after great service and unbeatable value, head to the Tyramwood specialists. Bob J. Timarts, they'll look after you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic. On 5AA.
A shower or two, 19 for today and for tomorrow. Partly cloudy on Thursday, 18. Showers increasing on Friday, 19. Currently it's 12 degrees. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hey, I'm James, claims manager at Allianz. This isn't always the call you want to make, but when you do, you'll reach our team who know exactly what to do next. It's why we're trusted by over 4.5 million Aussies.
Allianz. Not every conversation stays with you. This one will. Join Stephen Bartlett as he asks the questions and nothing is left unsaid. Search The Diary of a CEO wherever you get your podcasts.
Last September, the Optus 000 outage meant some Australians couldn't reach emergency services. We want you to know that we're introducing new measures to strengthen Optus's 000 service, including a dedicated team for 24/7 monitoring, expanding automated call testing, and improved escalation processes to identify issues faster. We're also working with other telcos, phone manufacturers, and government to further improve 000 for everyone. Building a stronger Optus? We're on it.
You've been the carer, the advocate, the constant, and you've done it out of pure love. But choosing specialist accommodation for your loved one isn't stepping back. It's one of the bravest things you'll ever do. Para Ability Community Care provides disability accommodation where every person is genuinely known, supported and cared for. We improve lives, and with our pack, you can go back to being the most important thing, the loving family member. Experience our kindness and connection. Visit ourpack.com.au.
We love to see you, CMI.
It's end of financial year at CMI Toyota, SA's #1 selling Toyota dealer. Hurry in for deals across our range of new and demo vehicles in stock, like the Toyota Camry, Hiace and Hilux. View the range at cmitoyota.com.au or visit CMI Toyota West Terrace City, Cheltenham or Christie's Beach today.
We love to see you, CMI.
Toyota, LVD 2009.
Wouldn't it be nice if energy companies were a little more useful? At Origin, we're making it happen. From offers to help you stay warm this winter, to smarter features that help manage your energy costs, and rewards just for being a customer, like savings on shopping, fuel, and even a night at the movies, keeping you comfy and in control this winter. That's all kinds of useful. Search Origin today. T's and C's apply.
Adelaide, it's me, Ruben Kay. Get ready because I'm inviting you to the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. From the opening gala to the late night shows, this June is your delicious revolution. We've got the legendary Vince Jones, the cast of Jesus Christ Superstar, Alfie Boe and many, many more. It is electrifying, it is sharp and it is unmissable. This is the delicious revolution Australia has been waiting for. Adelaide Cabaret Festival, June 4th to 21st. Book now at adelaidecabaretfestival.com.au.
The things you value deserve the best protection. Your car, your tools, your weekend projects. Alpha Industries garages and sheds will keep them safe from rain, hail and the harsh Australian sun. Made from genuine Australian blue scope steel and fully welded for strength and durability, built with you in mind. South Australian owned and operated for over 40 years, Alpha Industries builds garages and sheds that work as hard as you do. Explore the range and ask for a quote today at alphaindustries.com.au.
For seafood that looks and tastes like it came out of the ocean this morning, go to McGill's Fresh Seafood, because chances are it did. Find McGill's Fresh Seafood at the top of McGill Road in the McGill Village Shopping Centre. Owner Andy is originally from Port Lincoln with over 40 years of experience in the fishing and seafood retail industry. Fresh seafood bought daily from local suppliers, sourcing Australia-wide, then processed on site. Expect the best at McGill's Fresh Seafood. Bought today, sold today.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 9. Emily Brand, our producers, wanted in during the news break and told me there's an exciting new feature that's going to be installed in the studio. They're going to put an electric charge through my chair, and if I call the World Cup of South Australia the World Cup of Suburbs again, I will be electrocuted to death. So stay tuned for that tomorrow morning.
Not to death, just enough to jolt you back into,
to maybe a bit of corrective electrotherapy.
Yeah. Exactly.
I do have a problem. I apologise to everyone listening. It is the World Cup of South Australia. It has been a good 6 years since the World Cup of Suburbs.
We had an electric shock machine at home as a kid.
Did you?
Had 2 copper handles.
Right.
Yeah, and you used to crank it up.
Sort of just to weed out any aberrant behaviour, was it?
Dad found it in the shed one day and I said, "What's this?" And Dad said, "Oh, I'll show you. Hold these."
Oh.
It's a true story.
Bit of real-time learning?
I think it was for... I've got no idea what it was used for. Maybe my grandfather was involved in the Spanish Inquisition at
the
some
mind
stage.
boggles. There's a crash on Green Hill Road if you're coming from the hills, according to Bianca. It says right before you get to the Glyndebourne Road roundabout, be careful, everyone. Bianca, thank you for that.
Nice
Live
text
with
from
hope. Have a strong vision. My vision is a world without MND. I'll get there. I might be 6 foot under, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and we have gotten so much closer thanks to the remarkable work of Neil Danaher over the last 12, 13 years of his life. As we mentioned right at the top of the program this morning, generally you get a diagnosis, you get 27 months. Feels like he got more because of the work that he was destined and deigned to do for the decade plus that he battled the disease, and in the process changed a nation's perception of what it was. We learned about it. So much money was raised in the process to fight it and get us closer to a day where he says we'll get there, where one day it can be defeated. Claire Sullivan knows that better than anyone, the CEO of MND Australia. Claire, good morning to you.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good, thanks, Claire. As Will just said, it really is just such a genuinely amazing legacy that Neil leaves behind, isn't it?
Oh, it is just remarkable, and a remarkable man. His professional career prior to being diagnosed and what he's done for awareness of the disease and the contribution to research to help beat this disease. He will absolutely leave an amazing legacy and will go down in Australia's history.
What's it like, Claire, when you think back to the pre-Neil Danaher era for motor neuron disease in Australia in terms of the level of awareness of the disease and the type of funding that it attracted?
Yeah, look, prior to Neil's diagnosis and contribution, there was relatively little awareness. So if you had a diagnosis like this, it was considered a rare disease and people didn't understand what you were up against. We also, because of the contribution of Neil and Fight MND, now have arguably the best MND researchers in the world who are all working tirelessly to solve this terrible disease. So, he's made a huge difference to the country, to the MND community, and to our research capacity.
The one thing with it, it's a bit of a fallacy, isn't it? That it's like super rare. Like it's more common than you'd care to think, really, isn't it?
It is shocking, actually. In Australia, every day 2 people are diagnosed and sadly 2 people pass away. Your lifetime risk of getting motor neuron disease is 1 in 300. So when you think about your Facebook friends or the people on your street, it's shockingly, scarily likely.
Mm. And are we getting any closer to a cure? Like, what are the sort of causes for optimism in the MND space?
Yeah, look, there is a lot of hope and a lot of reason for optimism. We think the disease, you get the disease as a combination of genomics, your genetic predisposition, cell biology, and the societal and environmental factors. But the truth is, we still don't know. We don't know what causes the disease, and sadly, we don't have a cure. We do know that improving quality of life and extending survivability with the services that are provided on the ground to help these people is the thing that makes the biggest difference at the moment. But it takes a whole of disease and a whole community to solve a disease like this. And in Australia, we're well primed and well positioned to be able to do that.
Mm. Thank you, Claire. Claire Sullivan, the CEO of MND Australia there.
Our next guest is a former Crow and dual McGarry medalist, Mitch Gregg, who you might recall nearly 4 years ago lost his father to MND after a 4-year battle. Mitch, it must have been a difficult day for you, I imagine, yesterday as well, with everyone talking about this disease. But it is an opportunity too for everyone to talk about the immense strides that have been made over the course of Neil and indeed your father's life in terms of our knowledge of MND and indeed our ability to fight it.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciate it. It was very bittersweet yesterday. It was sort of brought back a lot of memories for myself and our family, and certainly shed a few tears for Neil and his family. It's a disease that, and unless you've experienced it, which a lot of people do, it's very shocking in the way that it attacks the body and what it makes that person go through. But if there's a shining light, the way that Neil handled himself, throughout the whole time he was battling this horrific disease, he showed people what really matters, and its perspective on life and how you attack it mentally. That's the biggest challenge. What he was able to do, within the football community to support M&D and raise the awareness that he has. I think there's something like 100 million that they've raised over the time of the big freeze and the M&D funding. It's been astonishing, really, and he reminds me of a lot of my old man. It was a sad day yesterday.
Yeah, Mitch, with a disease like MND, I mean, it's different from something like cancer, where, I mean, there's nothing more shocking in the world than being told by a specialist, yes, you have cancer. Yet at the same time, there's plenty of people who had cancer and get through it. The tragedy of MND is that there's no MND survivors. Like, it's if you've got it eventually, and usually pretty quickly, you are going to die. That part of it, dealing with that as a loved one, as a son, do you feel that is there enough support for the family members when they're presented with such a terribly bleak set of circumstances, that they're sort of being forced into accepting the horrible inevitability of it all? That must be so hard to process.
Try and keep it together.
Sorry, mate.
Look, it's extremely hard, especially when it just comes out of the blue. There's very little warning sign. Dad himself had started feeling a bit lethargic. He owned an F45 gym with his wife Sam, and he was training almost every day, and he started feeling just a bit off, a bit flat, and it was a grueling year of tests and going through a lot of things, and to come to that diagnosis, it's not something they obviously want to just give out willy-nilly. But from that time, obviously you deal with that initial shock, and that's a hard thing to handle, knowing that eventually it's going to get him, and that was really hard. And then the other part of it is you just watch them deteriorate, going from this fit and healthy, 55-year-old man to a shriveled up, chair-bound person that can't eat, can't drink, fed through a tube and confined to a chair in his living room, which just isn't something that you wish upon anyone.
No.
So
not someone.
And look, it's the way. If everything comes back to one thing, it's perspective. And I know Neil and Dad, they shared their journey together. They kept in touch and they spoke regularly. And that's one thing that Dad admired about Neil was his perspective, and it's something I admired about Dad was his own perspective on life and how he attacked it. And he didn't give a shit about himself. He cared about everyone else around him, which is something that says a lot about a person that's gone through what he did.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch, incredibly gutsy of you to share that on air, mate. And we really appreciate it. And there'll be people listening, not just MND, but people listening, maybe they're dealing with partners who've got early onset dementia, where you see them sort of slipping away in a comparable way. And there was really courageous of you to share that, mate. So we appreciate it. Mitch Grigg, former Adelaide Crow and Norwood Football Club legend.
She's a real schmozzle at the moment. Ranella, 5-car smash, causing delays a couple of kilometres long on the Southern Expressway. It's near the Moore Road overpass. Leave early if you must head that way today. Edwardstown, a track breaking down, causing really big headaches too. South Road just near Castle Plaza. And super heavy at the moment, Anzac Highway at South Road as you're heading into the city. Slow going Brighton Road, Brighton, with a camera right now. Davenport Terrace at Richmond. It's Travel Tuesday at Flight Centre. Save up to 61% off a 4-night, 4-star Tokyo stay from $104 per person per night. Today only. Book at flightcentre.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When your work depends on accuracy, the tools matter. For 70 years, General Tools has helped South Australian engineers, machinists and workshops get the right gear for the job. They specialise in new and second-hand metalworking machinery, cutting tools, carbide tooling, measuring equipment, machine tooling accessories, bandsaw blades, vices and cold saws, including trusted brands like Vertex, Winstar, Insize and Mitutoyo. Shop in store at Cavan or online at generaltools.com.au.
Parties, weddings, big events. What do they all have in common? Pals. You know your pals want to have a good time, but what will everyone want to drink? That's when you need to speak to Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals will make sure you've got the right type of drinks, the right amount, and best of all, we'll make sure you've got the best labels that will keep everyone talking about your event. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Some things are worth waiting for, like tickets to your favourite concert, waiting for a nice bottle of Red to breathe, or waiting for the kids to finally unpack the dishwasher. But waiting to get your air conditioner serviced just before summer or winter really hits? It's just not worth the pain. Get in touch with Morford Air now for servicing or a new system. Put it at the top of your to-do list. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
The end of financial year sale is now on at Cherry. Get a $1,000 fuel card with a Tiggo 4 or C5, or save $2,000 on a Tiggo 8 Super Hybrid or Tiggo 4 Hybrid. Head into your local Cherry dealer this end of financial year. Cherry, for the road ahead. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
The global fuel shortage is affecting us all, and we each have our part to play. Simple actions like pumping up your tyres, removing things you don't need from the boot, running more errands in fewer trips, and only filling up with the fuel you need can help make our supply go further and save fuel for our truckies, farmers and essential services. Every little bit helps. For more fuel-saving tips, visit fuelplan.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
At Coles, you can save with a grab-and-go breakfast. Right now, get half price on Farmers Union Greek-style yogurt pouch 130 gram. Now just $1.25. Save in-store or online at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Hi, it's Eddie May here from NRG Solar. If you've had solar on your roof for 10 years, you would understand the big feed-in tariffs have pretty much disappeared. That's why NRG Solar will tell you the best way forward is to combine your existing or new solar system with battery storage. Storing the excess energy your solar makes during the day to use it at night is a game changer. NRG Solar helps you upgrade smarter with solutions designed to target zero power bills. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Five minutes to 9. Lots of texts coming over the course of the program on a range of subject matters. We appreciate them all. 048008 1395. There are many. Just remember, if we don't get to reading yours out online, we always read them all. Just a matter of timing. But there are some terrific texts that have come through. And Michael in Seaton says, gents, glad you got Mitch Grigg. I knew his old man over 20 years ago. Such a nice, happy man. Loved his red legs and loved his crows. He would have been proud about how his son spoke about him too.
We had a lot of messages too from other people who have lost loved ones to the beast, as Neil Danaher called it, including Josh. Lost his dad 18 months ago. Says he battled on for 19 months. It's a bloody brutal disease. Dad worked hard his whole life, retired at 60 so him and Mum could enjoy retirement. But the fight is not over. We'll keep fighting to find a cure. I would call in, but I know that I break down. Good on you, mate. On a much lighter note, I really like this text from Paul Halliwell, our good mate Paul. He says, guys, listening to you speaking earlier about Tony Modra and his amazing skills, I can tell you that as the managing director of Peter Shearer for many years, I had a lot to do with Mods.
Paul.
He's one of the nicest guys you would ever meet. Everyone involved in making our TV ads loved him, truly modest as well. Look out for the man.
I love the best thing about Tony Modra is that he, for being the most showbiz footballer in AFL history, like he was box office, front page, the way he played, the way he looked, everything about him was Hollywood except who he is.
Yeah,
he's such a quiet farm guy.
Oh,
like,
totally.
He exudes quiet, country Australian kind of guy. And you see him at function. I've sat next to him at function. He's a lovely bloke. But the poor guy, to this day, hundreds of people at any event he's at will come up and, Tony can have a thing. And he'll go, he gives everyone the time of day, smile, shake hands. Then he'll just go back to sitting there quietly, not making a bit. He's never the centre of attention. Yeah. Then 5 more people. Oh, Mods, you legend. Oh, yeah, photo. Then he'll just sit there quietly again. He's just a lovely bloke.
I reckon that's one of the reasons why him and Scott Hodges get on so well.
Well, Scott's both similar, isn't he?
Quite shy blokes. They're not big noters.
Scott's
they don't like the limelight. They'd much rather go and find a quiet corner at a place like the Seaton Hotel or the Lakes or something like that and punch a few in and, sit there talking, the same rubbish any normal group of mates do.
Yeah.
Not sort of walking like, hi, look at me, I'm famous. It's a nice quality.
It is. It's a great quality to have. All right, we should have a look at the fuel situation before we leave this morning. RAA is a fantastic service, and you should be a member. Better be a member with RAA Road Service. The cheapest spots we've been able to find this morning. The the Mobile at Blair Athol is the cheapest unleaded. That's at $1.67.5. The cheapest diesel is the Solo Marion. That one's at $2.13.5.
Like what the Pope said overnight about artificial intelligence. It's worth checking
Talk about
it
it
out
tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk about it tomorrow.
See you then.